Welcome, sleep seekers. Tonight we'll explore the fascinating connection between your brain and the decisions you make each day. We'll dive into how the circuits in your brain shape your choices, emotions, and actions, and how understanding these processes can guide you toward a more peaceful, balanced life. This knowledge is not just theoretical, it's practical, and by the end of this video, you'll gain deeper insights into how your brain influences your path. With this understanding, you'll be better equipped to approach both the big moments and the small decisions with calm and clarity, perhaps even helping you drift into a restful sleep as you reflect on these insights. Your brain is a remarkable organ, far more intricate and powerful than you may realize. Each day, you make countless decisions, big and small. How often do you stop to consider the deep brain mechanisms that drive those choices? You might believe that your decisions are based solely on conscious thought and willpower, but the reality is far more complex. Every choice you make is influenced by brain circuits shaped over years of experience, environment, even genetic wiring. Imagine your brain as a vast network, with each area responsible for different tasks. At the heart of this system lies the autonomic nervous system, the part of your brain that controls basic unconscious functions like breathing, heart rate, and even your sleep-wake cycles. This system is essential for your survival, working quietly in the background while you go about your day, ensuring that you are always in balance, even when you are unaware of it. But beyond the autonomic system, there are other regions of your brain responsible for your desires and actions. The hypothalamus, for example, plays a key role in regulating basic drives such as hunger, thirst, and sexual desire. These primal needs push you towards certain behaviors, whether it's reaching for food when you're hungry or seeking comfort when you're in distress. Your brain constantly shifts between these various states of desire, influencing how you respond to the world around you. However, there is another layer to your brain's functioning, one that is particularly important when it comes to decision-making: the prefrontal cortex. This region, located just behind your forehead, is responsible for what we commonly refer to as executive function. It's here that your ability to make decisions, control impulses, and plan for the future takes place. While the primal urges of the hypothalamus may push you toward immediate gratification, the prefrontal cortex helps you resist those impulses, guiding you toward actions that align with your long-term goals and values. It's fascinating to realize that the prefrontal cortex doesn't just suppress your desires. It allows you to think beyond the present moment and consider the future. For example, when you resist the urge to indulge in unhealthy habits, or when you choose to invest time in something that will benefit you in the long term, it's the prefrontal cortex that's at work. It helps you see beyond the immediate rewards of your impulses, guiding you toward decisions that ultimately improve your well-being. But how do these brain circuits come to exist? How do you develop the patterns of thinking and behavior that govern your life? This is where neuroplasticity comes in. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to change and reorganize itself in response to experience. Unlike many other parts of your body, your brain is not set in stone. It has the incredible capacity to adapt, form new connections, and even rewire itself throughout your life. This means that even as an adult, you have the ability to reshape your neural pathways, challenge old habits and behaviors, and foster new ones. Neuroplasticity is especially powerful during the first 25 years of life, when your brain is forming its foundational circuits. But it doesn't stop there. As you grow older, your brain continues to be flexible, capable of learning new skills, breaking old patterns, and adapting to new situations. This is incredibly empowering, as it means that you are not bound by the way you've always thought or acted. Instead, you have the ability to change, grow, and guide your brain toward healthier, more balanced ways of being. By understanding how your brain works, how different areas influence your emotions, thoughts, and actions, you can begin to make more conscious decisions. Nines. You can move from a place of unconscious reactivity to a place of intentional mindful living. And as you dive deeper into understanding the interplay between your brain's circuits, you'll begin to see how responsibility and personal growth are deeply intertwined. In the next part, we'll explore how the concept of the call to adventure, the internal pull to step outside your comfort zone, connects with your brain's circuitry, and how you can use this knowledge to make decisions that align with your greater purpose and well-being. As you continue on this journey tonight, let's gently uncover the fascinating complexity of your mind. You might think of yourself as a single, consistent being, yet in reality, your mind is more like a collection of different personalities, each one shaping your thoughts, emotions, and actions in unique ways. It's important to realize that within your brain, multiple systems operate simultaneously, allowing you to exist in different mental states depending on the circumstances you find yourself in. One of the most crucial concepts for you to understand is the difference between the conscious and unconscious parts of your mind. The conscious mind is what you are aware of in any given moment. It's the part of your brain that helps you reason, solve problems, and make decisions. It's the part that guides your behavior when you are fully aware of your surroundings, focused on your tasks, and deliberate in your actions. But this is only one part of the equation. Beneath your awareness lies the unconscious mind, a vast realm of processes that influence your thoughts, feelings, and decisions without you even realizing it. Your unconscious mind is responsible for countless automatic behaviors: breathing, blinking, digesting food, all of which happen without your conscious effort. It also plays a role in deeper mental processes, such as emotions, intuition, and memory, shaping how you react to situations and how you perceive the world around you. Together, these two realms, the conscious and the unconscious, form the foundation of the dual nature of your mind. Understanding this duality is crucial to understanding how you make decisions and how your brain influences your behavior. When you reflect on your decisions, you are often unaware of how deeply your unconscious mind shapes those choices. It's not always about logic or reason, but about deeper, more automatic impulses that guide you. This brings us to the concept of impulses, the initial, often unconscious reactions you have to stimuli in your environment. These impulses are deeply rooted in the hypothalamus, a small but powerful part of your brain that controls basic drives like hunger, thirst, and sexual desire. These drives push you towards certain behaviors, urging you to satisfy your needs as quickly as possible. For example, when you feel hungry, your body signals this need, driving you to find food. When you feel anxious, your body urges you to take action to alleviate that discomfort. These impulses are not necessarily bad. They are essential for survival, but they can sometimes conflict with your higher goals. At the same time, there is another part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, that helps you manage these impulses. The prefrontal cortex is involved in executive function, which includes decision-making, planning, and self-control. It's the part of your brain that allows you to pause, reflect, and think about the consequences of your actions. When you resist the impulse to eat that second dessert or decide to take a break from work to rest, it's your prefrontal cortex at work, helping you make choices that align with your long-term goals and values. However, it's important to recognize that the relationship between the conscious mind, the prefrontal cortex, and the unconscious mind, the hypothalamus, and other areas, is not always smooth. In fact, they often compete for control, especially when you face decisions that involve immediate gratification versus long-term reward. This internal struggle is something you experience daily. Do you follow the impulse to relax and watch TV, or do you push yourself to work on that important project? Do you give in to the desire to eat something unhealthy, or do you choose a nutritious option that will benefit you in the long run? The conflict between these different parts of your brain is natural, and it's something you face as you navigate life. The key to making the best choices lies in understanding this dynamic and learning how to manage it. It's not about suppressing your impulses entirely, but rather about integrating them into a balanced system that takes both immediate desires and long-term goals into account. This integration is essential for making decisions that serve both your short-term needs and your long-term well-being. Your ability to integrate these different mental states is one of the most powerful tools you have. It allows you to live in alignment with your values and to move forward in life with purpose and intention. As you continue this journey tonight, you'll delve deeper into how these different mental states, your impulses, desires, and rational thoughts, come together to shape the decisions you make. By understanding this internal process, you can better guide your actions and responses to the challenges that life presents, helping you create a more peaceful, balanced existence. As we reflect on the dual nature of the human mind, we come to realize that there is no one self, but rather an interplay of different personalities within us, each influencing our actions and emotions at various times. The key is understanding when and how to harness the power of each of these aspects of our mind, bringing them together in harmony. In the next part, we will explore how our brain's wiring, especially its ability to adapt, plays a crucial role in personal growth and transformation. As you continue your exploration tonight, let's pause and reflect on the dynamic between two key aspects of your mind: impulses and integration. These are two forces within you that shape your behavior, decisions, and experiences. Impulses are quick, automatic reactions, often driven by deep-rooted needs and desires, while integration represents the ability to combine these impulses with higher cognitive functions, bringing balance and intention to your actions. At the most basic level, impulses are the immediate responses you have to the world around you. They are primal, coming from the deep recesses of your brain, and often stem from your basic survival instincts. The hypothalamus, for example, governs many of these basic drives, such as hunger, thirst, or the desire for physical comfort. Impulses come on strong, sometimes without warning, and can be incredibly powerful, urging you to act on instinct. For instance, imagine a situation where you feel suddenly stressed. Your body might urge you to seek comfort, perhaps by reaching for a snack, taking a nap, or withdrawing from the situation. These urges are natural, and serve important functions. Impulses help you meet your immediate needs, whether that means eating when you're hungry, resting when you're tired, or seeking social connection when you feel isolated. However, if you rely solely on these impulses, your actions can become reactive rather than thoughtful. Impulsive behavior might give you short-term relief, but it can also lead to decisions you later regret, choices driven by emotion or momentary desire, rather than long-term well-being. This is where the integration of impulses becomes so important. Integration is the process by which you take these raw impulses and channel them through your higher functions, such as reasoning, emotional regulation, and long-term planning. The prefrontal cortex, which governs decision-making and self-control, plays a key role in this process. When you are able to integrate your impulses into a balanced response, you are able to act with intention, choosing actions that align with your deeper values and long-term goals, rather than just reacting in the moment. Consider an example. You feel the impulse to avoid work by procrastinating and indulging in a distraction. Without integration, this impulse might lead to continued avoidance, resulting in stress and guilt later on. But when you integrate that impulse, you recognize the immediate desire to avoid discomfort, yet make the choice to face the task at hand. You may decide to break the work into smaller, manageable pieces, or take a brief rest before returning to the task. By integrating the impulse for rest with the goal of productivity, you find a healthier, more effective way to manage both your immediate needs and long-term goals. This is the art of balance, the balance between satisfying your immediate needs and fulfilling your deeper aspirations. Integration doesn't mean eliminating your impulses. It means understanding them, acknowledging them, and deciding how to express them in ways that are constructive rather than reactive. It's about bringing mindfulness to the way you respond to your impulses, allowing you to navigate the world with greater wisdom. The process of integration also involves self-awareness. It's about becoming attuned to your inner world, the impulses that arise within you, and understanding where they come from. Why do you feel the urge to avoid discomfort? Why do you reach for food when you're stressed, or withdraw from social situations when you feel anxious? By increasing your awareness of these patterns, you can begin to make more conscious choices about how you respond. This ability to integrate impulses also connects to your emotional regulation. Emotions often drive your impulses. Fear might make you run from a challenging situation. Anger might make you lash out. Sadness might make you retreat. But when you integrate your emotional responses with higher cognitive processes, you learn how to process emotions in a healthy way. Rather than acting impulsively based on how you feel, you can take a moment to reflect, regulate your emotions, and respond thoughtfully. The relationship between impulse and integration is also reflected in your habits. Habits are formed when your impulses are repeatedly integrated into automatic patterns of behavior. Over time, these habits can either support your well-being or hinder it, depending on how they are integrated. Healthy habits, like exercising regularly or maintaining a balanced diet, are the result of integrating your impulses for immediate pleasure or comfort into long-term goals for health and vitality. On the other hand, unhealthy habits, like overeating or smoking, are often the result of unintegrated impulses that prioritize short-term pleasure over long-term health. Through mindful awareness and intentional practice, you can gradually transform your behaviors and create positive habits. Integration, in this sense, is a continuous process, a practice of aligning your immediate needs with your long-term values and guiding your impulses toward actions that enhance your life. As you reflect on the dynamic between impulses and integration, you come to understand that you are not a passive recipient of your desires. Rather, you have the power to shape your responses. By learning to integrate your impulses into thoughtful, intentional actions, you move closer to living a life that reflects your true values and deepest aspirations. As you delve deeper into the workings of your mind tonight, let's now focus on one of the most fascinating and influential parts of your brain, the prefrontal cortex. This region, located just behind your forehead, is the center of what we often refer to as executive function, the mental processes that help you make decisions, plan your actions, and manage your behavior. It's also the area of your brain most responsible for your higher order thinking, the cognitive abilities that allow you to reflect, reason, and navigate complex situations. To understand the prefrontal cortex, think of it as the decision-making hub of your brain. It's the part of your mind that allows you to step back from the immediate pull of emotions or impulses and make a more thoughtful, reasoned choice. When you take a moment to pause, reflect, and carefully consider your options, it's your prefrontal cortex guiding you. Whether you're deciding what to eat, how to respond to a situation, or how to manage your time, this area of the brain is working to ensure that your decisions are in alignment with your long-term goals. What makes the prefrontal cortex so extraordinary is its ability to manage self-control. It's the brain's mechanism for overriding impulses that may lead you down unhelpful paths, such as the urge to procrastinate, act impulsively, or indulge in unhealthy habits. It doesn't eliminate these desires, but rather helps you integrate them in a way that promotes healthier, more balanced outcomes. Imagine you're faced with a choice: the immediate desire to watch television or the longer-term goal of completing an important task. The prefrontal cortex helps you make the decision to focus on your task first, knowing that the reward of completing it will feel more fulfilling in the long run. This process of self-control can sometimes feel like a struggle. The prefrontal cortex, while powerful, is not infallible. It requires a great deal of energy and attention to function optimally. When you are well rested, calm, and centered, your prefrontal cortex works more efficiently, allowing you to make clearer, more deliberate choices. However, when you are tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, the brain's ability to exert control weakens. This is why it's often more difficult to make healthy choices or resist temptations when you're feeling mentally fatigued. Interestingly, the prefrontal cortex is also deeply connected to your emotional regulation. While the hypothalamus and other emotional centers in your brain are responsible for generating your immediate feelings, it is the prefrontal cortex that helps you process and regulate those emotions in a way that aligns with your overall well-being. This ability to manage your emotions allows you to engage with the world in a balanced way, avoiding the extremes of unchecked anger, fear, or impulsive behavior. This emotional regulation is especially important in the context of decision-making. Think about a time when you felt overwhelmed or anxious about a choice. Perhaps you were faced with a difficult conversation, a challenging project, or a decision that would affect your future. In these moments, the prefrontal cortex helps you manage those emotions, allowing you to step back and consider your options from a more objective perspective. It helps you see the bigger picture, weighing the short-term discomfort against the long-term benefits, so that you can make the decision that best serves your greater goals. As you explore how the prefrontal cortex shapes your choices, it's also important to understand its connection to future planning. One of the key functions of the prefrontal cortex is to enable you to think ahead, anticipating the consequences of your actions before you act. This ability to plan for the future allows you to set goals, create strategies, and make decisions that align with your long-term aspirations. Whether it's planning for personal growth, career goals, or even health-related outcomes, your prefrontal cortex helps you visualize the future and map out the steps needed to achieve it. This function is part of what makes humans so unique. Unlike many animals, you are able to think beyond the present moment and imagine future scenarios. You can create visions of what you want to achieve and actively plan for those goals. This forward-thinking quality is what allows you to make decisions that support your overall well-being, rather than simply reacting to the immediate stimuli around you. However, this ability to plan and think about the future also comes with its own challenges. In a world filled with distractions, multitasking, and the constant pull of short-term rewards, it's easy for your prefrontal cortex to become overwhelmed or distracted. That's why it's so important to engage in practices that help strengthen and support this area of your brain, such as mindfulness, meditation, or simply taking time to rest and recharge. When you are able to manage your emotions and make decisions with the help of your prefrontal cortex, you experience a greater sense of balance and control in your life. You can make choices that align with your values, prioritize your long-term health and happiness, and ultimately create the life you desire. As you reflect on the importance of the prefrontal cortex, it's clear that this part of your brain plays a pivotal role in personal growth. It's not just about making better decisions. It's about building the capacity to navigate life with a sense of clarity, purpose, and emotional resilience. In the next part, you will explore the connection between these cognitive processes and the way your brain responds to challenges and growth opportunities, further guiding you toward achieving your fullest potential. As you continue your exploration of the intricate workings of your mind tonight, let's delve into a concept that lies at the heart of much of your behavior: motivation. Motivation is the force that drives you to take action, pursue goals, and create the life you desire. It's the reason you get out of bed in the morning, the energy that propels you toward your dreams, and the spark that ignites change in your life. But where does motivation come from? What mechanisms in your brain fuel this powerful force? The answer lies in the intricate networks of your brain, where multiple systems work together to create the feeling of motivation. Neuroscience provides a fascinating lens through which you can understand how your brain generates and regulates motivation, guiding your actions toward survival, fulfillment, and success. At the core of motivation is your brain's dopamine system, a neurotransmitter pathway that plays a critical role in reward, pleasure, and goal-directed behavior. Dopamine is often referred to as the feel-good neurotransmitter because it is released when you experience pleasure, such as eating a delicious meal, receiving praise, or achieving a goal. However, dopamine's role goes far beyond just the experience of pleasure. It is intricately tied to your motivation to achieve. When you set a goal, your brain anticipates the reward you will receive when you achieve it. This anticipation triggers the release of dopamine, creating a sense of pleasure even before you've reached the goal. This is why the pursuit of a goal, whether it's learning a new skill, completing a project, or starting a new habit, can feel motivating in itself. Dopamine gives you the energy and the drive to continue, pushing you forward toward that reward. However, it's important to note that dopamine is not just about the reward, it's also about effort. Your brain releases dopamine as a signal that you are on the right path toward achieving something important. In this way, dopamine works as a motivational guide, encouraging you to keep going, even when the journey feels challenging or uncertain. It is through this system that your brain balances your desire for instant gratification with the effort required to achieve long-term goals. But motivation is not just about dopamine. It also involves other brain systems, including the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for decision-making, planning, and impulse control. The prefrontal cortex helps you evaluate the rewards and consequences of your actions and allows you to plan the steps needed to achieve your goals. It is the executive function of your brain, helping you prioritize long-term rewards over short-term impulses and guiding you through complex decision-making processes. When motivation wanes, or when you struggle to take action, it is often a sign that the prefrontal cortex is not fully engaged or that the dopamine system is out of balance. In these moments, it can be difficult to push through distractions or lack of energy. However, understanding how these brain systems work can help you take steps to re-engage your motivation. One way to increase motivation is by setting clear goals and breaking them down into smaller, manageable tasks. When you see your progress toward a goal, even in small steps, your brain releases dopamine, reinforcing your desire to keep moving forward. This is why it's so important to celebrate small victories along the way, rather than waiting until the final achievement. By acknowledging the effort and progress you've made, you strengthen the neural pathways that support motivation, making it easier to continue. Another powerful tool for enhancing motivation is self-compassion. When you are kind to yourself and recognize your efforts, you reduce the psychological barriers that often hold you back, such as fear of failure or self-doubt. Self-compassion helps regulate your emotions, reduces stress, and increases the likelihood of taking action toward your goals. By treating yourself with kindness and patience, you create an environment in which motivation can thrive. Stress can also play a role in motivation. In small doses, stress can be motivating. It signals to your brain that something important needs attention. However, when stress becomes overwhelming or chronic, it can actually decrease motivation by activating your body's fight or flight response, which shifts your focus away from long-term goals. In these moments, finding ways to manage stress through relaxation techniques, mindfulness, or deep breathing can help restore balance and allow motivation to flow more freely. Social connections also play a crucial role in motivation. You are inherently a social creature, and much of your motivation comes from your interactions with others. Whether it's receiving encouragement from a friend, collaborating with a colleague, or working toward a shared goal, social support can significantly enhance your drive and determination. Dopamine is not only released through personal achievements, but also when you experience positive interactions with others, reinforcing your desire to pursue goals within a social context. Understanding the neuroscience behind motivation helps you recognize that it is not a static force. It is a dynamic and fluid system within your brain that requires nurturing and balance. By engaging with the right strategies, setting clear goals, practicing self-compassion, managing stress, and cultivating positive social connections, you can strengthen your brain's ability to stay motivated even when challenges arise. As you continue your journey through the inner workings of your mind tonight, let's now explore how you interact with the world around you and how your brain adapts to social environments. Socialization is the process by which you learn to interact with others and navigate the complexities of human relationships. It's not just about fitting in with society, it's about integrating the various impulses and desires within you, ensuring that they align with the greater good of both the individual and the community. When you think of socialization, you may often imagine a set of rules and norms that guide how you behave in society. These rules are crucial for maintaining harmony and cooperation. But the way you internalize these rules is not as simple as just learning to suppress your impulses. It's more about integration, taking the raw energy of your desires, your impulses, and your emotions, and channeling them in ways that are constructive, meaningful, and socially beneficial. In essence, socialization is the process of learning how to integrate your basic motivational states into a more sophisticated system of behavior. Consider a child, for example. A child is not born with the social understanding of when to speak, when to stay silent, or how to cooperate with others. In fact, children often exhibit behaviors driven by strong impulses, such as tantrums or the need for immediate gratification. These behaviors are natural, but they can be disruptive in social settings. It's through the process of socialization that you learn to regulate these behaviors, not by merely inhibiting them, but by integrating them into a broader framework of social norms and personal growth. For example, a child may feel the impulse to scream or act out when they don't get their way. However, through socialization, they learn that expressing themselves in this way does not lead to positive outcomes in their relationships or environment. Instead, they begin to understand the value of patience, compromise, and empathy. As you continue, this idea of integration is what distinguishes healthy socialization from mere inhibition. Rather than simply suppressing the urge to act impulsively, you learn to understand and channel your impulses into actions that serve your larger goals and contribute to your sense of belonging and personal development. A good example of this can be seen in how you approach aggression, a natural impulse that, when unregulated, can lead to harmful outcomes. Instead of merely suppressing this aggressive energy, healthy socialization helps you integrate it into a more constructive form, such as competitive sports or assertive communication, where the energy is directed toward a positive, socially acceptable goal. The process of integration is deeply connected to maturity. It's about developing the capacity to manage your own impulses in a way that reflects a greater understanding of the world and the people around you. In essence, mature socialization is not about simply following rules or adhering to norms. It's about developing an internal compass that helps you navigate your desires and impulses with wisdom and intention. At the same time, you must acknowledge that not all forms of socialization are equally beneficial. While the ideal form of socialization leads to integration, there are also instances where socialization can take a more inhibitory turn. This is often seen in authoritarian environments, where you or others are taught to suppress or deny your natural impulses, rather than understanding and integrating them. In such environments, the focus is on obedience and conformity, rather than fostering a sense of individuality or creativity. Over time, this can lead to a disconnect between your inner desires and outward behavior, resulting in confusion, frustration, and even psychological distress. This distinction between integration and inhibition is especially relevant when considering the role of psychological health. In a healthy socialized individual, There is a balance between personal desires and social obligations. This balance is achieved through integration, where you can pursue your personal goals without harming others and without losing sight of the bigger picture of community and cooperation. In contrast, when you are unable to integrate your impulses, you may experience inner conflict, which can manifest as anxiety, depression, or even destructive behavior. Interestingly, this process of integration is not something that occurs once and is finished. It's a lifelong process. As you encounter new challenges, relationships, and experiences, you are continually integrating new aspects of yourself. This ongoing process of growth is what allows you to evolve and adapt to life's changing circumstances. Whether through personal introspection, therapy, or the experiences you gain through relationships, you are constantly learning how to reconcile your inner impulses with your external realities. For instance, consider the way you learn to deal with anger. As a child, you might act out when you feel frustrated or misunderstood. But as you grow, you learn that expressing anger through shouting or aggression is not always effective or healthy. Instead, you find more productive outlets for this emotion, such as expressing your feelings calmly, seeking compromise, or even engaging in physical activities to release tension. This integration of anger is not about denying the emotion, it's about channeling it in a way that is both healthy for you and respectful of those around you. The goal of socialization, then, is not to eliminate or suppress your natural impulses, but to integrate them into a system of behavior that supports your well-being and the well-being of others. This integration is what allows you to become a whole balanced individual, capable of making decisions that align with your values and contribute positively to the world around you. The process of transforming your impulses into purposeful, goal-directed behavior is one of the most powerful aspects of personal development. As you've already learned, impulses are the immediate, often unconscious reactions to external stimuli. These impulses can be driven by basic needs and desires, such as hunger or the desire for social connection, and they often arise quickly, urging you to act on instinct. But what happens when you move beyond simply reacting to these impulses and instead begin to channel them into meaningful, purposeful actions? This transformation requires the integration of your impulses through higher cognitive functions, particularly the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for decision-making, planning, and self-control. Your prefrontal cortex allows you to take a step back and evaluate your impulses in relation to your long-term goals, values, and aspirations. It gives you the ability to pause and think before acting, enabling you to make decisions that align with your deeper purpose, rather than simply reacting to the immediate pull of your desires. At the heart of this transformation is the ability to set and pursue meaningful goals. When you have a clear sense of purpose, your actions become more intentional, and you begin to make decisions that support your broader vision for your life. This is where the concept of self-regulation comes into play. Self-regulation is the ability to manage your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in a way that is consistent with your values and long-term goals. It allows you to delay immediate gratification and focus on what will truly benefit you in the long run. For example, imagine the impulse to procrastinate when faced with a challenging task. The immediate desire is to avoid discomfort and delay the work. However, when you integrate this impulse with your long-term goal of achieving success, you choose to take action despite the discomfort. By setting small, manageable steps and focusing on the bigger picture, you are able to channel the initial impulse into productive behavior that serves your greater purpose. This shift from impulse to purpose is not always easy. It requires you to embrace discomfort and make choices that may not provide instant gratification. The desire to act impulsively is a natural part of being human, but it is through the process of integrating these impulses with your higher goals that you can create lasting change and growth. This process of integration is what helps you overcome the tension between short-term desires and long-term objectives, allowing you to move toward a life that is more intentional and fulfilling. It's also important to recognize that this transformation from impulse to purpose is not about suppressing or rejecting your impulses. It's about understanding them and learning how to channel them in ways that align with your deeper values. This process is a continual practice, a journey of self-awareness, self-regulation, and conscious decision-making. Over time, as you continue to integrate your impulses with your goals, you strengthen your ability to make purposeful, intentional choices. In this way, the shift from impulse to purpose is not just about changing your behaviors, it's about transforming your mindset. When you view your impulses as signals or reminders, rather than forces that must be resisted, you can develop a healthier relationship with them. Rather than feeling guilty or frustrated by your natural desires, you can learn to work with them, using them as guides toward your deeper purpose. As you embark on this journey, it's important to be compassionate with yourself. Transformation takes time, and there will be moments when you slip into old patterns of behavior. However, by embracing each moment as an opportunity to learn and grow, you can continue moving forward on your path toward integrating purpose with action. By doing so, you empower yourself to create a life that is not just driven by impulses, but guided by a deeper, more meaningful sense of direction. As you continue to explore the fascinating world within your mind, let's now arrive at a profound concept that influences not only your decision-making, but also your personal growth and transformation: the call to adventure. This concept, rooted in ancient myths and stories, represents the inner urge to step outside your comfort zone, to venture into the unknown, and to embrace the challenges that life presents. It's the voice within you that beckons you to grow, to change, and to evolve into something greater. The call to adventure is not simply a call to change. It's a call to transform, to step away from the familiar and into the unknown, where growth and self-discovery await. This voice, often subtle but persistent, invites you to question the status quo of your life, to leave behind the safety of what you know, and to take a leap into the future. It is through this process that you discover your deepest potential, learn new skills, and expand your understanding of who you are. In the stories of ancient heroes, the call to adventure often begins with a moment of tension, an event or realization that disrupts the hero's world and demands action. This is the moment when you must choose whether to remain in your comfort zone or to venture into the unknown. For many, this decision is difficult. It requires bravery, vulnerability, and the willingness to face the challenges and uncertainties that come with growth. But what if you could see this moment in your own life as a gift, a chance for expansion and self-discovery? The call to adventure is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It is an opportunity to evolve and pursue a life that is rich with meaning. Whether it's a career change, a new relationship, or a personal goal you've longed to achieve, The call to adventure invites you to take the first step toward a future filled with possibility. This urge to move forward, to evolve, is deeply rooted in your biology and neurobiology. It is tied to your brain's ability to anticipate the future, plan for the unknown, and seek new experiences that challenge and enrich you. This process is driven by your prefrontal cortex, which helps you map out and pursue long-term goals. It allows you to imagine a future that is better than the present and to take the necessary steps to make that future a reality. However, as you've seen in previous parts, the call to adventure also requires you to overcome resistance. Resistance comes in many forms: fear, doubt, insecurity, or simply the comfort of the known. Your primal brain circuits, such as those in the hypothalamus, often urge you to avoid discomfort and stick to what is familiar. Yet, it is through overcoming this resistance that you experience true growth. This process of stepping into the unknown and facing new challenges is a deeply personal journey. It requires you to take ownership of your life and embrace the responsibilities that come with growth. The relationship between adventure and responsibility is not often discussed, but it's a crucial part of this process. As you take on new challenges, you also take on new responsibilities, responsibilities to yourself, to others, and to the world around you. The call to adventure is not just about the external challenges you face, but also the internal growth you undergo. It's about expanding your mind and your perspective, opening yourself to new ideas and experiences, and learning to navigate life with greater wisdom. It is through this inner and outer transformation that you become more capable of managing life's difficulties and more empowered to make decisions that align with your true self. By embracing the call to adventure, you also embrace change, not just in the external world, but within yourself. This transformation can be subtle or dramatic, but it always leads to a deeper understanding of who you are and what you are capable of. And as you move forward on your personal journey, you begin to see that life itself is an ongoing adventure, filled with opportunities for growth and learning. As you reflect on the call to adventure, you come to realize that this invitation to change is always available to you. It is not something that happens once and is over. It is a continuous thread that runs through your life. There are always new adventures to be had, new challenges to overcome, and new opportunities to grow. The key is to embrace the adventure with an open heart, knowing that each step forward brings you closer to the best version of yourself. In the next part, you'll explore how embracing the call to adventure connects with the concept of responsibility, how taking on new challenges not only transforms your life, but also positively impacts the lives of those around you. By understanding the relationship between these two powerful forces, you can move forward with clarity and purpose, guided by the wisdom of your brain and the courage in your heart. As you continue your journey of understanding the deep workings of your mind, let's now turn our attention to two powerful forces that are intricately connected: truth and responsibility. These two elements may seem separate at first, but as you dig deeper, you'll see that they are inextricably linked in your life, guiding your decisions and shaping the outcomes you experience. At its core, truth is about alignment with reality. It's the clarity that allows you to see things as they are, without distortion or bias. Truth is not just a simple fact, It's an understanding of the world around you, of yourself, and of your relationships with others. Truth allows you to navigate life with a sense of clarity and confidence, helping you make decisions that are grounded in reality and not influenced by wishful thinking or denial. But how does truth relate to responsibility? To understand this, let's first explore what responsibility means. Responsibility is the recognition that you are an agent in your own life, capable of making decisions that affect your future. It's the understanding that your actions, words, and choices have consequences, both for yourself and for others. Responsibility is not just about taking ownership of your actions. It's about understanding that your choices have a profound impact on the world around you. When you align yourself with truth, you begin to understand the weight of your responsibilities more clearly. Truth reveals the consequences of your actions and decisions, allowing you to make choices that are not only beneficial to yourself, but to others as well. It's through truth that you come to understand the cause and effect of your behaviors, the ripple effect that each choice creates, whether positive or negative. For example, consider the decision to engage in a healthy habit, such as regular exercise or eating nutritious food. On the surface, the immediate rewards may not seem obvious, and the temptation to indulge in unhealthy habits might seem more appealing. But when you are aligned with truth, you see the long-term consequences of these choices. You understand that your health is not just a matter of how you feel in the moment, but that it affects your energy, mood, and overall quality of life. Truth empowers you to make choices that are consistent with your deeper values, rather than simply reacting to immediate desires. Truth also plays a crucial role in accepting responsibility for the challenges and difficulties that you encounter. Life is full of obstacles, some of which are beyond your control. However, by embracing truth, you come to understand that you always have a choice in how you respond to these challenges. You can choose to face them with courage, resilience, and the willingness to grow, or you can choose to avoid or deny them. By accepting responsibility, you acknowledge that you have the power to shape your own responses to life's difficulties. It's important to recognize that truth is not always comfortable. Often, it requires you to confront uncomfortable realities about yourself and your circumstances. The truth may challenge you to face your mistakes, your weaknesses, and your fear, but it is only through confronting the truth that you can grow and evolve. The avoidance of truth, on the other hand, often leads to denial, a defense mechanism that shields you from the discomfort of reality, but also prevents you from moving forward. When you face the truth head on, you gain clarity. You see yourself more clearly, and you are able to make decisions based on a more accurate understanding of your circumstances. This clarity is what allows you to take full responsibility for your life. It is the foundation upon which you build the integrity to follow through on your commitments and to make choices that align with your highest potential. At the same time, responsibility is not about perfection. It's not about making the right choice every single time, but about taking ownership of your decisions and learning from them. Even when you make mistakes, responsibility means you own them and use them as opportunities for growth. Truth allows you to see your mistakes clearly, and responsibility empowers you to learn from them and take the necessary steps to improve. In fact, growth itself is a deeply responsible act. When you choose to grow, you are choosing to take on new responsibilities. Whether it's the responsibility of facing difficult emotions, taking on a new challenge, or changing old patterns of behavior, Growth requires you to take responsibility for your development, to embrace the discomfort that comes with change, and to move forward with the understanding that transformation is not always easy, but always worthwhile. Through this connection between truth and responsibility, you come to realize that living a fulfilling life is not about avoiding difficulties or denying uncomfortable truths, but about embracing them with open eyes and an open heart. By understanding the truth of your situation, you can take responsibility for your actions and move forward with clarity and purpose. And it is through this process of facing truth and accepting responsibility that you become empowered to shape your own life and create the outcomes that align with your deepest desires. As you continue your journey of self-discovery, let's now turn to one of the most powerful and universal symbols in human culture: the hero. The archetype of the hero is deeply embedded in myths, stories, and cultures, reflecting your collective quest for meaning, purpose, and transformation. Whether in ancient mythologies, modern literature, or even your personal narrative, the hero represents a journey of growth, challenge, and eventual self-discovery. At its core, the hero's journey is about transformation. The hero begins in a familiar, often comfortable world, only to be called to adventure by a challenge or crisis. This call to adventure represents a moment of change, a disruption of the status quo that forces the hero to leave behind what is known and venture into the unknown. The journey that follows is not easy. It is filled with trials, obstacles, and moments of deep personal conflict. Yet it is through these struggles that the hero grows, learns, and ultimately discovers a new level of strength and wisdom. What makes the hero archetype so powerful is that it mirrors your human experience. You face challenges, moments of uncertainty, and times when you must step outside your comfort zone to grow. The hero's journey is not confined to myth or fiction. It's a universal pattern that you experience in one form or another. It's through facing your own challenges, stepping into the unknown, and overcoming adversity that you discover who you truly are and what you are capable of achieving. The hero's story is often filled with moments of doubt, fear, and resistance. Just like in your own life, the hero faces moments when the path forward is unclear, when the obstacles seem insurmountable, and when the temptation to turn back is strong. But the essence of the hero's journey lies in their courage to move forward, despite the fear and uncertainty. It is through this act of courage that transformation happens, and the hero becomes something more than they were before. This journey is not always about external achievements. While many hero stories involve great acts of bravery or conquering external enemies, the deepest transformation of the hero often occurs internally. The hero must face their own fears, weaknesses, and limitations. They are forced to confront parts of themselves that they may have previously ignored or denied. It is through this self-confrontation that the hero becomes more whole, more integrated, and more aligned with their true purpose. In a way, the hero archetype represents the psychological process of growth and development. As you embark on your own journey in life, you are called to face challenges, move beyond your comfort zones, and transform yourself. Whether you are navigating a personal crisis, pursuing a career change, or simply trying to live more authentically, the hero's journey is a model for how you can approach these challenges with courage and wisdom. In many stories, the hero is aided by mentors, allies, and guides, figures who help them along the way, offering wisdom, tools, and support. These mentors represent the inner resources you have access to, whether they come from your own experiences, intuition, or the wisdom of others. Just as the hero's journey is not a solitary one, your own path is enriched by the support and guidance you receive from others. One of the most important aspects of the hero's journey is the concept of the return. After the hero has undergone their transformation, they return to their community, their world, and often share the wisdom they have gained. This return symbolizes the idea that transformation is not just for the individual, but for the greater good. The hero's journey teaches you that personal growth is not solely about self-fulfillment, but about contributing to the world around you. This idea of the hero returning with newfound wisdom is closely tied to the notion of meaning. The hero's journey is not just about surviving the challenges, but about discovering the deeper meaning behind the struggles and ultimately sharing that meaning with others. In your own life, you often find meaning in your experiences, especially in the difficult or transformative moments. It is through the process of overcoming obstacles and facing your fears that you gain a deeper understanding of your purpose and how you can contribute to the world. The hero archetype also emphasizes the importance of courage and resilience. It's easy to feel lost or overwhelmed when faced with challenges, but the hero teaches you that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward in spite of it. The courage to face adversity, stay committed to your goals, and trust in your own capacity for growth is at the heart of the hero's journey. As you reflect on the hero's journey in your own life, you realize that you are a hero in your own right. The challenges you face, the choices you make, and the ways in which you transform yourself are part of your personal adventure. You may not always face dragons or mythical enemies, but you do face your own fears, doubts, and limitations. And just as in the stories of old, it is through facing these challenges with courage and resilience that you find your true strength and purpose. As you continue your journey tonight, let's now turn our attention to a theme that many of us try to avoid, but that is integral to the human experience: suffering. While suffering is often viewed in a negative light, it plays a profound and transformative role in shaping who you are and how you grow. It's easy to imagine suffering as something that should be avoided at all costs. Yet in many ways, it is the very catalyst for your personal development and growth. The concept of suffering has been explored by philosophers, theologians, and psychologists for centuries. And while no one would willingly choose to suffer, the truth is that your greatest moments of transformation often arise from the most difficult challenges you face. Suffering forces you to confront your limitations, question your beliefs, and most importantly, it teaches you resilience, the ability to endure hardship and emerge stronger from it. When you experience suffering, whether it's physical pain, emotional distress, or the loss of something important, your brain is activated in profound ways. It is during these times that you are forced to adapt to your circumstances. You learn to cope with the discomfort, to find new ways of thinking, and to shift your perspective on life. The suffering you experience may feel overwhelming in the moment, but it often leads to greater clarity about who you are and what truly matters to you. Consider how a difficult experience, such as the end of a relationship or the loss of a loved one, can cause intense pain. In the midst of this pain, it may seem as though there is no way forward, yet over time, many people find that such experiences help them better understand themselves, develop empathy for others, and recognize the fragility of life. The grief, while painful, opens up a deeper connection to the human condition, helping you to understand the impermanence of your experiences and the importance of cherishing the moments you have. This is not to say that suffering should be pursued or welcomed indiscriminately. It is, after all, uncomfortable and often debilitating. However, the key lies in how you respond to suffering. Resilience is not about avoiding pain, but about finding the strength to continue moving forward in spite of it. It's about understanding that suffering is a natural part of life, and that it often holds the keys to your deepest growth. Neuroscientifically, suffering activates several brain regions, including those involved in emotion regulation and self-awareness. It forces you to tap into your inner resources, pushing you to use your cognitive and emotional skills in ways you might not have imagined. This is where the role of the prefrontal cortex comes in. It helps you process the emotional intensity of suffering and choose your responses rather than simply reacting from a place of pain. The process of transformation that follows suffering is not always immediate. In fact, it often takes time for your brain and body to heal and adapt. However, over time, you may find that you emerge from your suffering with a new perspective, one that is more compassionate, self-aware, and open to life's complexities. Suffering teaches you not to fear pain, but to approach it with the knowledge that it is part of a larger process of growth and transformation. This idea is encapsulated in the concept of the hero's journey, a powerful archetype that appears in stories from around the world. In these stories, the hero is often called to face an unknown and dangerous adventure. Along the way, they encounter obstacles and suffering, which test their strength and resolve. It is through these trials that the hero grows, becoming wiser, more capable, and more integrated. The hero's journey is not about avoiding suffering, but about embracing it as a necessary part of becoming the best version of yourself. The same is true in your life. While you may not consciously seek suffering, you can choose to see it as an opportunity for growth. Every challenge you face, whether it's a difficult decision, a period of hardship, or a painful loss, offers you a chance to reflect, to learn, and to become more resilient. You may not choose to suffer, but you can choose how you respond to it, and in doing so, you can transform it into a force for personal growth. Moreover, suffering often leads to a deeper connection with others. When you experience pain, you are reminded of the vulnerability and fragility of life. You become more empathetic, more understanding, and more willing to offer support to others who are going through their own struggles. This shared experience of suffering creates bonds between you and others, helping you to realize that you are not alone in your challenges. As you reflect on the role of suffering in your life, you begin to understand that it is not something to be feared, but something to be accepted and understood. It is through suffering that you learn the most profound lessons about who you are, what you value, and how you can contribute to the world. In the next part, you'll explore how storytelling, whether through literature, mythology, or your own personal narratives, helps you make sense of suffering and guides you through your transformative journey. Storytelling has the power to turn suffering into meaning, allowing you to reframe your experiences and see them as part of a greater, more connected whole. Through this process, you can turn even your darkest moments into sources of strength and wisdom. As you continue your journey tonight, we arrive at a powerful tool that shapes your understanding of both yourself and the world: storytelling. Whether it's through ancient myths, modern novels, or even the personal narratives you carry in your mind. Stories have a unique ability to help you make sense of your experiences, especially the most challenging ones. Through stories, you find meaning in suffering, triumph in struggle, and purpose in the moments of uncertainty. It's no wonder that stories have been passed down through generations, acting as both a mirror and a guide for the human experience. At the heart of storytelling is its ability to help you understand the self. You all have a personal story, a narrative that you tell yourself about who you are, what you've experienced, and where you're going. This story is not just a collection of facts, it's a lens through which you view your life. It shapes your perceptions, your emotions, and even your future decisions. When you understand the stories you tell yourself, you gain greater insight into your motivations, desires, and behaviors. Consider for a moment the way you think about the events in your life. When you look back at a difficult period, what story do you tell? Do you see it as a time of loss and hardship, or do you recognize it as a stepping stone, a moment that, while painful, ultimately contributed to your growth and resilience? The stories you choose to tell about your past have a profound effect on how you experience the present and future. The narrative you craft shapes your identity and can guide you toward a path of healing and transformation. Storytelling also has the power to help you reframe your experiences. It is through this reframing that you can find meaning in suffering and insight in adversity. For instance, imagine a time when you faced a failure or setback. In the moment, the experience may have felt overwhelming or discouraging, but through the lens of storytelling, you can see that failure is often a necessary part of growth. In fact, it is through failure that you learn some of life's most important lessons about perseverance, resilience, and the strength to keep going even when the road is difficult. In this way, storytelling serves as a tool for self-reflection. By telling the story of your life, whether through journaling, speaking with others, or simply reflecting in your own mind, you can uncover hidden patterns, motivations, and desires. You begin to understand how you've reacted to various challenges and what those reactions say about you. The self-awareness is a critical part of personal growth, as it allows you to break free from old limiting narratives and create a new story, one that aligns more closely with your current goals, values, and aspirations. Another powerful aspect of storytelling is its ability to connect you with others. When you share your stories, you invite others into your world. This creates empathy and a sense of shared experience. It reminds you that you are not alone in your struggles and triumphs. It's in the telling of stories that you realize the universal themes of human existence: love, loss, struggle, and triumph. These are the stories that bind you all together, transcending time, culture, and geography. In many cultures, storytelling has served as a way to pass down wisdom from one generation to the next. The myths and legends of ancient civilizations contain profound truths about the human condition. These stories explore the challenges of the hero's journey, the process of transformation, and the wisdom that comes from facing adversity. The hero, often called to adventure, must overcome obstacles, face inner demons, and emerge changed, wiser, and stronger. In these stories, you see reflections of your own struggles and growth, reminding you that your personal journey is part of a larger universal story. This is where the concept of the hero's journey becomes particularly important. The hero's journey, as described by Joseph Campbell, is the archetypal story that appears across cultures and time periods. It's the story of an individual called to step outside their comfort zone, face challenges, and ultimately undergo transformation. The journey involves trials, suffering, self-discovery, and a return home with newfound wisdom. This pattern is not just a framework for fictional stories. It mirrors your own experiences. You too are called to face challenges, to grow through suffering, and to emerge with greater wisdom and understanding. As you tell your own story, you also create the possibility for healing. Reframing your experiences in a more compassionate and constructive way allows you to release the grip that past pain has on you. You no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstance, but as an active participant in your own transformation. By understanding and embracing the narratives that shape your life, you empower yourself to take control of the direction in which you are headed. Storytelling also invites you to reimagine the future. Just as you have crafted a narrative about your past, you have the ability to shape the story of your future. The way you envision your life, your dreams, aspirations, and goals, becomes the guiding force that leads you forward. And just as you are not defined by past failures, you are not limited by current circumstances. The future is open, waiting for you to write your next chapter. As you reflect on the role of storytelling in your life, you realize that it is not simply about recounting events. It is about finding meaning in those events and creating a narrative that allows you to grow, heal, and transform. The story you tell shapes your identity, guides your choices, and helps you navigate the complexities of life. In the next part, you will explore the importance of self-compassion in this process of transformation. Understanding and embracing your stories is not about perfection. It is about accepting yourself as you are, with all your flaws and strengths. Through self-compassion, you learn to embrace your imperfections and move forward with kindness toward yourself, no matter what challenges you face. As you continue your journey through personal development, we arrive at a profound concept: the significance of sacrifice in your life and growth. Sacrifice is often seen as something to avoid or fear, yet it plays an essential role in shaping who you become. The act of sacrifice, when understood properly, is not about loss, but about trade-offs, choosing one path over another in order to grow, evolve, and ultimately live a more fulfilling life. At its core, sacrifice is about giving up something of immediate value for something of greater long-term benefit. This could mean giving up short-term pleasures in order to focus on a long-term goal, like studying for a degree or saving money for a future investment. It might involve making personal sacrifices for the sake of others, such as sacrificing time for family or friends, or letting go of a bad habit in order to lead a healthier life. In each case, sacrifice involves a choice, the choice to prioritize something more meaningful, even if it requires discomfort in the present moment. One of the most profound realizations about sacrifice is that it is not about losing something, but rather about reallocating resources, whether it be time, energy, or attention. By consciously choosing to make a sacrifice, you are investing in your future. For instance, choosing to give up time spent on mindless activities, like watching TV, in order to focus on building a skill or working toward a personal goal, may feel like a sacrifice, but in reality, it is an investment in your future success. Sacrifice, in this sense, is an act of prioritization, where you are making a conscious choice to direct your energy and focus towards something that will bring more value and fulfillment in the long run. It's important to recognize that sacrifice is not a one-time event. It's a continuous process that unfolds throughout your life. As you grow, your values, goals, and priorities evolve, And with that comes the need for new sacrifices. You might find yourself needing to sacrifice time, energy, or even relationships in order to pursue new opportunities, deepen your understanding, or become the person you aspire to be. These ongoing sacrifices are not signs of failure. They are signs of commitment, commitment to personal growth, to your future, and to the vision you hold for your life. The concept of sacrifice is also deeply tied to the idea of delayed gratification, the ability to resist immediate desires in favor of achieving something more meaningful down the road. This ability is essential for long-term success and personal development. It's the reason why you invest in education, work hard at your job, or practice self-discipline in your health. While the immediate rewards may not always be evident, the sacrifices you make today are what allow you to reap the benefits of a richer, more fulfilling life tomorrow. But sacrifice does not always have to involve giving up something tangible or material. It can also mean sacrificing certain beliefs or mental habits that no longer serve you. For example, letting go of limiting beliefs about yourself or adopting a growth mindset might feel like a sacrifice, but it is in fact an act of liberation. By releasing outdated beliefs and embracing new perspectives, you open yourself to greater possibilities in personal transformation. Sacrifice also plays a crucial role in building emotional resilience. Life is full of challenges, and many of those challenges require you to make difficult choices. These choices often involve personal sacrifice. For example, in relationships, you may need to sacrifice your ego, pride, or even your time to nurture and support the people you care about. In doing so, you build stronger connections and create deeper bonds. These emotional sacrifices help you grow into a more empathetic, compassionate individual, capable of handling the ups and downs of life with grace and strength. At times, sacrifice may feel uncomfortable or painful. Letting go of something you care about or changing your habits can be difficult, but it's important to understand that sacrifice is not punishment. It is a necessary step in the process of growth. Just as a seed must sacrifice its shell to grow into a plant, you too must give up certain aspects of yourself in order to evolve and flourish. The discomfort that comes with sacrifice is often temporary, while the benefits of personal growth and transformation are lasting. This connection between sacrifice and growth is particularly evident in spirituality and self-development. Many spiritual traditions emphasize the importance of sacrifice as a means of transcending the ego and reaching higher levels of consciousness. In these traditions, sacrifice is not seen as a loss, but as a way to purify the self, letting go of attachments and desires, in order to attain a higher, more meaningful state of being. It is through sacrifice that you also learn the importance of balance. While it is essential to make sacrifices for growth and development, it is equally important to know when to pause and care for yourself. The art of sacrifice lies in knowing when to give and when to take, when to push forward and when to rest. Life is a delicate balance between action and reflection, giving and receiving. Understanding this balance allows you to make sacrifices that are meaningful and aligned with your highest values. As you move forward in your journey tonight, you'll explore how these principles of sacrifice and growth connect to the broader concept of responsibility, how embracing responsibility for your life and decisions leads to deeper fulfillment and personal empowerment. Through sacrifice, you develop the strength to face life's challenges, and through responsibility, you take ownership of your journey, making choices that lead to lasting transformation. As you continue your journey through self-discovery tonight, let's turn our attention to one of the most profound figures in religious and philosophical traditions, Abraham. In many ways, the story of Abraham is a symbolic representation of the call to adventure, a universal theme that resonates deeply with the human experience. Abraham's journey is not just one of faith, but also of personal transformation, sacrifice, and the willingness to step into the unknown in search of a higher purpose. Abraham's story, as told in many traditions, begins with a call to leave behind his familiar life, his home, and his family, and to venture into an uncertain future. This call, coming from a divine source, is not just a physical journey, but a spiritual one. Abraham is asked to step into the unknown, to leave the comfort and safety of his current life, and to trust in something greater than himself. In doing so, he embarks on a hero's journey, a path that requires both sacrifice and faith. The symbolism of this adventure is powerful. Abraham's willingness to follow the call to adventure represents your own human condition, the constant pull between staying in the familiar, the known, and stepping out into the unknown, where growth and transformation await. It is a decision you face at various points in your life. Like Abraham, you are called to leave your comfort zone, confront your fears, and take risks in order to discover something greater about yourself and your purpose in life. What makes Abraham's journey so poignant is not just the external challenges he faces, but the internal transformation that accompanies his physical journey. Along the way, Abraham experiences moments of doubt, struggle, and confusion. He is forced to confront his own limitations, fears, and desires. Yet, it is through these struggles that he becomes more self-aware and attuned to the deeper meaning of his journey. He learns to trust the process, embrace the unknown, and let go of his need for control. This internal transformation is what makes Abraham's journey so relatable. Like Abraham, you face moments in life when you are called to step outside of your comfort zone, whether it's taking on a new responsibility, pursuing a difficult goal, or confronting a personal challenge. These moments often require you to confront your insecurities, doubts, and fears. And just like Abraham, you must learn to trust the process, knowing that the journey itself will bring the lessons and growth you need, even if you cannot see the full picture in the moment. Abraham's willingness to sacrifice is another key element of his story. He is asked to make one of the greatest sacrifices, a willingness to give up something precious, something deeply tied to his sense of self. This sacrifice is not just about letting go of material possessions or comforts, but about relinquishing the need for certainty and control. Abraham's journey symbolizes the inner work of releasing attachments to what is familiar and safe, and stepping into the unknown with trust and courage. Sacrifice, in this context, is not about giving up something out of obligation or punishment, but about making a conscious choice to prioritize something greater than yourself. It is through this sacrifice that Abraham finds his true purpose and begins to understand the deeper meaning of his life. Similarly, in your own life, it is often through sacrifice, whether it's letting go of old habits, beliefs, or fears, that you uncover new opportunities for growth and self-discovery. At the heart of Abraham's journey is the theme of faith, faith in something larger than himself, faith in the process of life, and faith in the idea that there is meaning and purpose in the challenges he faces. This faith is not blind or passive. It is active, requiring Abraham to take bold steps in the face of uncertainty, to trust in the path even when the destination is unclear. In many ways, this is the essence of the human experience, the constant dance between trust and uncertainty, between the known and the unknown. The symbolism of Abraham's adventure resonates with you because it reflects a universal truth. In order to grow, transform, and reach your fullest potential, you must be willing to take the journey into the unknown. Whether it's pursuing a new path in life, taking on a challenging goal, or simply embracing change, the call to adventure is always present in your life. Like Abraham, you must be willing to embrace the discomfort of uncertainty, make sacrifices along the way, and trust that the journey will lead you to a deeper understanding of yourself and your purpose. As you reflect on Abraham's story, you realize that his adventure is not just his own, it is your adventure too. Each of you is called to step into the unknown at various points in your life, to embrace the discomfort and uncertainty that come with growth, and to trust that, like Abraham, you will emerge transformed. In the next part, you'll explore how this call to adventure connects to the broader themes of responsibility, and how taking ownership of your life can help you move forward with clarity and purpose. As you continue your journey through personal growth, let's now turn our attention to the call to action, the internal prompt that urges you to take meaningful steps toward your goals and aspirations. Just as the hero answers the call to adventure, you too are faced with moments in life when you must respond to an inner voice, urging you to act, to move forward, and to make progress. This call is not always loud or obvious, but it often comes in subtle whispers, nudging you to take the next step on your journey. The call to action is deeply tied to the concept of purpose. When you feel a sense of purpose, you are naturally motivated to act. This motivation is what drives you to pursue your goals, take risks, and embrace the challenges that come with growth. The call is not simply about moving toward external rewards, but about aligning your actions with your deeper values and long-term vision for your life. When you are clear about your purpose, the call to action becomes a natural response, guiding you toward the actions that will help you create a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling. Yet the path toward fulfillment is not always easy. Responding to the call to action often requires you to overcome resistance, the inner obstacles that hold you back from taking action. Resistance can take many forms: fear of failure, self-doubt, procrastination, or even the comfort of staying in your current state where you feel safe and familiar. But the essence of the call to action lies in overcoming these barriers and taking deliberate steps toward your desired outcome. The rewards of answering the call to action are not always immediate, but they are profound. When you take action toward your goals, you experience a sense of empowerment, the knowledge that you are actively shaping your life and creating the future you want. This sense of empowerment is a powerful motivator, reinforcing the importance of taking action, even when the path ahead is uncertain. By taking small, consistent steps, you create momentum that propels you forward, leading to a deeper sense of fulfillment and satisfaction over time. One of the most significant rewards of taking action is the growth you experience along the way. Each step you take brings you closer to your goals, but it also brings you closer to discovering your true potential. As you move beyond your comfort zones and face challenges, you learn more about yourself, your strengths, your resilience, and your capacity for transformation. This process of growth is not always easy, but it is through taking action that you discover the depth of your inner strength and your ability to overcome adversity. In addition to personal growth, responding to the call to action often brings you new opportunities. Action is a powerful force for opening doors. By making a decision and moving forward, you often find that new pathways reveal themselves, opportunities you might not have seen before. These opportunities may come in the form of new connections, new experiences, or new perspectives. The act of taking action not only shapes your personal journey, but also creates ripple effects in the world around you, inviting new possibilities into your life. There is also a sense of satisfaction that comes from knowing you are aligned with your purpose and values. When you take action, you are no longer merely reacting to the circumstances of life. You are actively creating the life you want. This sense of control and agency is deeply fulfilling. It allows you to move through life with intention, rather than drifting aimlessly. Even when the action you take is small, it is still a powerful affirmation of your commitment to your own growth and the pursuit of your dreams. Moreover, the rewards of taking action are often more than just personal. When you respond to the call to action, you also contribute to the greater good. By pursuing your goals and living authentically, you become a role model for others, inspiring those around you to take action in their own lives. Your growth and transformation ripple out, creating positive changes in the world, whether it's through your work, your relationships, or your community involvement. The action you take can have a profound impact on those you encounter. The call to action, then, is not just about individual success. It's about creating a life that is meaningful, not only for yourself but for others as well. It's about stepping into your full potential and using that potential to create positive change, both in your life and in the world around you. The rewards of taking action are not just tangible or material, they are deeply transformational, creating lasting impact and fulfillment. As you reflect on the call to action, you come to understand that the real reward is the growth and empowerment that comes from taking responsibility for your life and decisions. By taking action, you align your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors with your deeper values and aspirations. In the next part of your journey, you will explore the connection between taking action and the role of meaning and purpose in shaping a fulfilling life, further deepening your understanding of how to create lasting transformation. As you continue your journey through personal growth, let's now turn our attention to an essential aspect of that growth: striving for excellence. Excellence is not just about achieving perfection or attaining the highest standards in any given area. It's about a commitment to continual improvement, becoming the best version of yourself, and living a life that reflects your highest potential. At its core, the pursuit of excellence is about dedication and effort over time. It requires consistency, patience, and the willingness to continue pushing forward, even when obstacles arise or progress feels slow. This commitment to excellence is not always visible in the short term, but over time, the results of your efforts become clear, whether it's in your personal life, your career, or your relationships. Striving for excellence means investing in yourself and your future, knowing that the rewards of this investment will unfold over time. Excellence, as we understand it here, is a process, a journey, not a destination. It's about creating a mindset that values continuous learning, growth, and improvement. Excellence is the mindset that says, I can always do better, learn more, and evolve further. This mindset allows you to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth rather than setbacks. It is through the challenges you face and the mistakes you make that you often learn the most profound lessons. One key aspect of striving for excellence is delayed gratification. This is the ability to resist the temptation of immediate rewards in favor of pursuing something more meaningful in the long run. It's the ability to stay focused on a goal, even when the path ahead is uncertain or when the rewards seem distant. The pursuit of excellence requires the ability to push through short-term discomforts in order to achieve long-term success and fulfillment. Whether it's working late into the night to achieve a goal, exercising to improve your health, or developing new skills for your career, excellence is about choosing what is best for your future, even if it means sacrificing immediate pleasures. It's important to understand that striving for excellence is not about perfection. It's about improvement. Perfection is often an unattainable goal that leads to frustration, self-doubt, and burnout. Instead, excellence is about doing your best and continuously finding ways to improve. Each step forward is a victory, and each challenge is an opportunity to refine your skills and grow stronger. It's the process of becoming rather than achieving an idealized version of success. Another crucial aspect of striving for excellence is resilience. Life is rarely a straight path to success. There are twists and turns, setbacks, and moments of doubt. Resilience is the ability to bounce back after failure, to stay focused on your goals, even when you experience disappointments. When you are resilient, you can see setbacks as part of the process rather than as permanent obstacles. Resilience allows you to continue working toward your goals, knowing that the road to excellence is not always easy, but it is always worthwhile. In the pursuit of excellence, it's also important to practice self-compassion. You can be your own harshest critic, especially when you are striving to improve. However, self-compassion reminds you that you are not perfect and that imperfection is a natural part of being human. By treating yourself with kindness and understanding, you allow yourself the space to grow without the fear of judgment or failure. Self-compassion also helps you maintain motivation by reducing stress and preventing burnout, enabling you to sustain your efforts toward excellence over the long term. Excellence is also about the impact you have on others. When you strive for excellence, you not only improve yourself, but you inspire those around you. Your commitment to doing your best can influence others, encouraging them to pursue their own goals with determination and dedication. By embodying excellence, you set an example and create a ripple effect that can help elevate those around you. In this way, the pursuit of excellence is not just about individual achievement, it's about contributing to the collective growth of your communities, relationships, and the world at large. As you strive for excellence, remember that the journey itself is just as important as the outcome. The pursuit of excellence shapes who you become along the way. It builds character, strengthens your resolve, and deepens your sense of purpose. The growth you experience through the pursuit of excellence, both in your successes and your challenges, becomes a fundamental part of your identity. It is through this continuous striving, this constant dedication to improvement, that you experience a deep sense of fulfillment and meaning in life. In the next part, You'll explore how the neuroscience of motivation supports your efforts in striving for excellence, helping you understand how your brain's reward systems fuel your drive for success, and how you can harness that energy to maintain momentum on your journey of growth. As you continue your exploration of human behavior and motivation, let's now turn our attention to the integration of multiple motivational states. Throughout your life, you experience a range of motivations, each driven by different factors: your needs, desires, values, and goals. These motivations often clash with one another, creating internal conflict. As you attempt to navigate the complex web of impulses and aspirations that shape your decisions, understanding how these motivational states interact and integrate within your mind is key to achieving a balanced and fulfilling life. The concept of multiple motivational states arises from the recognition that you are not driven by a single monolithic force. Instead, your motivation is a complex interplay of different systems in the brain. These systems reflect both your immediate instinctual needs and your longer-term, more abstract goals. The hypothalamus plays a central role in your more primal motivations, those driven by basic survival needs such as hunger, thirst, and the desire for safety. These motivations push you to act quickly and decisively in response to immediate challenges. On the other hand, the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for higher-level functions such as decision-making, planning, and goal-setting, helps you regulate these primal urges. It enables you to make decisions that align with your long-term values and goals, even if those decisions require you to delay immediate gratification. This creates a constant tension between your immediate instinctual needs and your higher, more complex goals. One key aspect of integration is the ability to balance these different motivational states. In many situations, the impulses you feel in the moment may not align with your long-term desires. For example, the urge to relax and watch television may conflict with your goal of completing a project or pursuing a healthier lifestyle. In these moments, the prefrontal cortex helps you manage this conflict by weighing the long-term benefits of your actions against the immediate satisfaction of your impulses. By integrating your immediate desires with your long-term values, you can make decisions that support your greater purpose rather than being driven solely by short-term impulses. This process of integration is not always easy. There will be times when the pull of immediate desires feels overwhelming, or when the long-term benefits of your actions seem distant or unclear. It is in these moments that the ability to regulate and balance multiple motivational states becomes especially important. By learning to pause, reflect, and prioritize, you can move beyond reactive behavior and make choices that are intentional and aligned with your deeper goals. The integration of multiple motivational states also involves recognizing the interconnectedness of your various desires. For example, the desire for social connection, success, and personal well-being are not isolated from one another. They are deeply intertwined. Acknowledging this interconnectedness helps you see that fulfilling one need often contributes to the fulfillment of others. For example, what desires for social connection, success, and personal well-being are not isolated from one another. By focusing on the integration of your motivations, rather than seeing them as competing forces, you can create a more holistic approach to achieving balance and fulfillment in your life. This integration process also relates to your ability to self-regulate. Self-regulation is the skill of managing your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors in ways that are consistent with your values and long-term goals. It involves recognizing the different motivations that arise within you, understanding how they shape your actions, and choosing how to respond in a way that supports your greater purpose. Self-regulation allows you to harmonize your various motivations, integrating them into a coherent and purposeful approach to life. The concept of mindful awareness plays a central role in this process. By being mindful of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, you become more aware of the various motivations that influence you at any given moment. Mindfulness allows you to recognize when your impulses are at odds with your deeper goals, and it gives you the space to choose how to respond. By practicing mindfulness, you cultivate the awareness needed to integrate your different motivational states, enabling you to make decisions that are aligned with your values and aspirations. One of the most powerful aspects of integrating multiple motivational states is the ability to create a sense of harmony within yourself. When you can balance your immediate desires with your long-term goals, and when you can align your different motivations with your core values, you experience a sense of peace and coherence. This inner harmony allows you to move through life with greater clarity and purpose, reducing internal conflict and increasing your sense of fulfillment. As you reflect on the integration of motivational states, you realize that this process is ongoing. It is not a one-time event, but a continual practice of balancing and aligning your impulses, desires, and goals. Each day presents new opportunities to integrate your motivations in a way that supports your growth and well-being. And as you continue to cultivate this ability, you move closer to living a life that is authentic, balanced, and purposeful. In the next part, you'll explore how these insights into motivation and integration can be applied to the pursuit of meaning and purpose, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of your goals and values, and how you can align your actions with your highest aspirations. Life is a journey of transformation, and much like the heroes of mythology, we are often called to face trials, setbacks, and uncertainties that challenge our identity and our place in the world. The hero's journey, an archetype present across cultures, illustrates that our struggles are not just obstacles, but essential steps toward growth and understanding. It teaches us that, just like the mythic hero, our path through life is shaped by challenges that force us to confront who we are, what we believe, and what we are willing to sacrifice to achieve personal growth. This journey begins with what can be called a call to adventure, a moment in life where we are faced with a challenge that takes us out of our comfort zone. It could be a personal loss, a professional failure, or an unexpected life event that forces us to change. At first, this call may seem like a burden, something to avoid or escape from, but in truth, it's the beginning of a deeper transformation, a process that forces us to leave behind our old ways and venture into the unknown, much like a hero leaving home to face an uncertain future. As the journey progresses, we encounter trials that test our resolve and character. These trials come in many forms: internal struggles with our own fears, doubts and insecurities, external challenges from the world around us, or even the betrayal of those we trust. Yet, it is precisely in these moments of struggle that we are forged into who we are meant to be. These trials reveal our weaknesses, but they also offer opportunities for growth, teaching us new skills, perspectives, and ways of thinking. But the hero's journey isn't just about facing challenges, it is also about integration. The hero, after overcoming trials, must return to the community with the wisdom gained from their adventure. Similarly, we must integrate the lessons we learn in our own personal journeys into our everyday lives. This integration is a crucial part of the transformation process. It is not enough to simply face challenges. We must emerge from them with new wisdom and understanding, ready to contribute to the world around us. Along the way, we are often guided by mentors or significant figures who offer wisdom, encouragement, or tools that help us navigate the obstacles we face. These mentors are symbolic of the guidance we all need to achieve success, whether it's from friends, family, or even the wisdom of the past. Just as a hero receives guidance from a wise mentor, so too must we seek out wisdom to guide us through our own challenges. Ultimately, the hero's journey teaches us that life's challenges, no matter how daunting, are not to be feared but embraced. It is through facing adversity that we grow, and in growing, we are able to contribute more meaningfully to those around us. The journey is not just about personal triumph, it is about coming back to share our wisdom and experiences with others, making our transformation a shared process that can inspire and uplift. While the hero's journey is deeply personal, it also carries within it a significant societal dimension. As we embark on the path of self-discovery and transformation, we must also consider how our personal growth impacts the larger world around us. The adventure of the self is not a solitary journey, but one that requires us to balance our personal development with our responsibilities to society. The essence of this balance lies in understanding that personal transformation is not just about achieving individual success, but also about contributing to the well-being of others. In our pursuit of personal growth, it's easy to become absorbed in the quest for self-actualization, striving to become the best version of ourselves, to fulfill our potential, and to achieve our goals. But true fulfillment comes not only from internal transformation, but also from how we use our growth to serve others. The adventure of the self, then, involves not just finding who we are, but also understanding how we can use that self-knowledge to make a meaningful impact on the world. As we grow, we become more aware of the interconnectedness of all things. The more we understand ourselves, the better we can relate to others, and the more capable we become of contributing to society. This could mean making a difference through our work, advocating for causes we believe in, or simply showing kindness and empathy in our daily interactions. Each act of personal growth enriches not only our own lives, but also the lives of those around us. The journey of the self is not complete until it is shared, and this sharing is what strengthens the fabric of society. However, this balance is not always easy to achieve. There is often a tension between pursuing personal goals and fulfilling our societal responsibilities. We are constantly faced with decisions that require us to weigh the impact of our actions on ourselves and others. The adventure of the self, therefore, involves not only personal growth, but also the awareness of how our actions affect a greater community. It requires a constant reflection on the values that guide us and how we can align our personal goals with the greater good. At its core, the adventure of the self is about contribution, how we use our unique experiences, skills, and wisdom to improve the lives of others. It's about using our personal transformations to uplift the community, whether that's through leadership, service, or simply by being a positive influence in our social circles. This contribution enriches not only the individual, but also the collective, creating a society that values growth, empathy, and shared purpose. In conclusion, the adventure of the self is not just about personal achievement, it is about creating a life that reflects both individual growth and societal contribution. By balancing these two elements, we create a meaningful existence that not only benefits ourselves, but also uplifts those around us, ensuring that the adventure of life is a shared one. As you continue your journey through personal growth and transformation, let's now turn our attention to a powerful force that shapes much of your life today: social media and modern culture. In recent years, these two elements have become central to how you perceive yourself, how you connect with others, and how you navigate the world. While social media and modern culture offer many benefits, such as fostering connection and access to information, they also present unique challenges that can influence your sense of identity, self-worth, and purpose. Social media platforms, such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and others, provide you with a way to communicate, share experiences, and stay informed. These platforms have revolutionized how you interact with one another, enabling you to form relationships and build communities regardless of geographic boundaries. Social media also offers the opportunity to express yourself, share your creativity, and connect with like-minded individuals who share your interests and values. However, this constant connectivity also brings challenges. One of the most significant challenges posed by social media is the pressure to present a curated version of yourself, an idealized image that reflects only the best aspects of your life. You are often encouraged to share your achievements, successes, and moments of happiness, while keeping your struggles, failures, and vulnerabilities hidden. This creates a distorted view of reality, where it seems that others are living perfect, flawless lives, while you may feel like you are falling short. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy, comparison, and even loneliness. In addition to the pressure of curation, social media platforms are designed to keep you engaged for as long as possible. They use algorithms that prioritize content that captures your attention, often promoting sensational, emotionally charged posts that trigger immediate reactions. This environment can create a cycle of constant stimulation, where you are continuously distracted by notifications, updates, and images that demand your attention. Over time, this can make it difficult to focus on deeper, more meaningful pursuits, and can contribute to a sense of disconnection from your own thoughts and feelings. In modern culture, the rapid pace of technological advancement and the constant bombardment of information can also create a sense of overwhelm. You are continually exposed to new trends, ideas, and opinions, and it can be challenging to discern what truly aligns with your values and goals. The fast-paced nature of modern culture often prioritizes speed, productivity, and instant gratification, which can lead to stress, burnout, and a sense of dissatisfaction with life. Yet, while social media and modern culture can have these negative effects, they also offer opportunities for growth and connection. Social media can be a tool for positive influence, enabling you to spread awareness, advocate for important causes, and inspire others to take meaningful action. It can connect you with people who share your passions and values, allowing you to find communities that support and uplift you. It can also serve as a platform for self-expression, creativity, and personal storytelling. The key, then, lies in how you engage with social media and modern culture. You must become a mindful consumer, aware of the impact that constant connectivity, comparison, and distraction can have on your mental health and well-being. Just as you cultivate healthy habits in other areas of life, you must also cultivate a healthy relationship with social media. This means setting boundaries, taking regular breaks from screens, and being intentional about the content you consume and share. In addition to mindfulness, it is important to stay grounded in your values and goals. Social media and modern culture can easily pull you in different directions, but by staying true to your own sense of purpose, you can resist the pressure to conform or seek external validation. This might mean limiting your exposure to certain types of content or unfollowing accounts that create negative emotions. It also means taking the time to reflect on what truly matters to you and ensuring that your online presence and offline actions align with your deeper values. Finally, the role of community in modern culture cannot be overstated. While social media connects you to others, it is often in real face-to-face interactions where you experience the most meaningful connections. Finding ways to engage with your local communities, building genuine relationships, and participating in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment can help counterbalance the disconnection and superficiality that can arise from excessive social media use. As you navigate the influence of social media and modern culture in your life, remember that your true sense of self and purpose comes from within. It is not defined by the number of followers you have or the approval of others, but by your ability to live in alignment with your values, engage meaningfully with others, and contribute to the world in ways that feel authentic and fulfilling. In the next part, you will explore how to build resilience in the face of external pressures, helping you maintain your sense of self while navigating the complexities of modern life. By developing emotional strength and a clear sense of purpose, you can more effectively handle the challenges of social media and modern culture without losing sight of your deeper goals. As you continue your journey into understanding personal transformation, let's now turn our focus to the importance of moral and psychological growth in today's world. In a time when the pace of life seems faster than ever, with constant access to information and shifting societal expectations, it can be easy to lose sight of what truly matters. In this part, we will explore how you can cultivate moral and psychological growth, even in the midst of the complexities and challenges that define modern life. The concept of moral growth involves the development of your ethical beliefs, values, and understanding of right and wrong. This process is deeply personal and often shaped by your life experiences, cultural influences, and the reflections you engage in as you encounter new situations and ideas. In the modern world, where cultural norms are constantly evolving and ethical dilemmas are ever present, the need for clear moral grounding becomes more essential. How do you navigate the vast array of conflicting viewpoints and stay true to your own ethical compass? Moral growth is not about adhering to a rigid set of rules or norms. It is about developing the capacity to engage in critical reflection and understanding the complexities of human behavior. It is about recognizing that ethical decisions are not always clear-cut, but require you to consider multiple perspectives and weigh the consequences of your actions on others and the world around you. In a world that can often feel polarized, moral growth involves practicing empathy, humility, and the willingness to question your own assumptions. Psychological growth, on the other hand, refers to the development of your mental and emotional well-being. This process involves becoming more self-aware, gaining insight into your emotions and behaviors, and learning how to navigate life's challenges with resilience and balance. Psychological growth is an ongoing process. It does not happen overnight. It requires consistent effort, openness to self-discovery, and the courage to confront your fears and limitations. In modern life, where stress, anxiety, and uncertainty are ever present. Psychological growth is more important than ever. One key aspect of psychological growth is emotional regulation. The modern world can be overwhelming at times, with constant stimuli, social pressures, and expectations. Learning to regulate your emotions, whether it's managing stress, anger, or sadness, helps you maintain clarity and make thoughtful decisions. Emotional regulation is a skill that requires self-awareness and mindfulness, the ability to pause, reflect, and choose how to respond to your emotions rather than reacting impulsively. By developing emotional resilience, you become better equipped to navigate life's challenges without being overwhelmed by them. Another critical aspect of both moral and psychological growth is the development of purpose. In the modern world, where distractions are abundant, it can be difficult to stay focused on what truly matters. You may find yourself caught up in the pursuit of external success, validation, or material possessions, only to realize that these achievements do not bring lasting fulfillment. Purpose provides you with a deeper sense of direction. It gives you a reason to persevere through challenges, and it aligns your actions with your core values. When you have a clear sense of purpose, you are better able to stay grounded and focused, even in the face of adversity. The process of moral and psychological growth also involves accepting responsibility for your actions and their consequences. In a world where it's easy to blame external factors or other people for your struggles, true growth comes when you take ownership of your life and your choices. Responsibility is empowering. It allows you to regain control over your circumstances and create change. When you take responsibility for your decisions, you shift from being a passive observer of your life to an active creator of your reality. It is also important to acknowledge that moral and psychological growth are not linear processes. There will be setbacks, moments of self-doubt, and times when you feel lost. However, these challenges are an integral part of the growth journey. It is through confronting your weaknesses, acknowledging your mistakes, and learning from them that you become stronger and more capable. Growth often occurs in the space between setbacks and recovery. The ability to rise after a fall and continue moving forward is a hallmark of both psychological and moral resilience. In the modern world, where you are constantly exposed to new ideas, cultures, and challenges, it is easy to feel disconnected or overwhelmed by the complexity of it all. However, the key to growth lies in self-reflection. By regularly reflecting on your actions, beliefs, and emotions, you can gain clarity on who you are and what you stand for. This self-awareness allows you to align your decisions with your core values, ensuring that you remain true to yourself as you navigate the ever-changing landscape of modern life. Finally, as you pursue both moral and psychological growth, remember the importance of community. While personal growth is an individual process, it is often facilitated and enriched by the relationships you form with others. Engaging in meaningful connections, offering support, and receiving guidance from others can deepen your understanding and contribute to your growth. In this interconnected world, you are reminded that growth is not just about yourself, it's about your role in the collective journey of humanity. As you reflect on moral and psychological growth in the modern world, you realize that these processes are essential to living a fulfilling and meaningful life. By cultivating self-awareness, emotional regulation, responsibility, and purpose, you can navigate the complexities of modern life with resilience, clarity, and integrity. In the next part, you'll explore how embracing self-compassion can further enhance your personal growth, allowing you to continue evolving with kindness and patience. Taking responsibility for your actions is one of the most powerful steps you can take toward personal growth. Rather than viewing yourself as a passive participant in life, embracing responsibility allows you to become the active author of your own story. It's through acknowledging your role in your experiences that you can begin to reshape your future and transform your mindset. By accepting responsibility, you gain control over your experiences, allowing you to shape your future, improve your relationships, and create the life you truly desire. Personal responsibility means recognizing that you are the author of your own life, that you are ultimately in charge of your choices, actions, and reactions. This can be both liberating and challenging. When you accept responsibility, you acknowledge that you have the power to influence the direction of your life, make decisions that align with your values, and face challenges with resilience and clarity. You recognize that your circumstances are not determined solely by external factors, but by the choices you make and how you respond to them. Psychologically, embracing personal responsibility profoundly impacts your sense of agency and self-efficacy. Agency is the belief that you have the power to act and make changes in your life, while self-efficacy is the confidence in your ability to succeed in specific tasks. When you take responsibility, you enhance both of these psychological traits. You begin to see yourself as an active participant in shaping your future, rather than a passive recipient of life's events. This shift boosts your motivation, self-esteem, and overall mental health. However, avoiding responsibility or blaming others for your circumstances can lead to feelings of helplessness and victimhood. When you blame external forces for your challenges, you deny yourself the power to change. You may feel stuck, unable to move forward because you perceive yourself as being at the mercy of outside circumstances. This sense of helplessness can contribute to anxiety, depression, and a lack of fulfillment. It's only by taking responsibility for your actions and decisions that you can begin to regain control and move toward positive change. One of the key psychological benefits of accepting responsibility is the increase in internal locus of control. This means believing that your actions directly influence the outcomes you experience. People with an internal locus of control tend to feel empowered, set goals, take proactive steps, and bounce back from setbacks. This sense of control fosters greater resilience, self-confidence, and a deeper sense of empowerment because you realize that your choices and actions shape your experiences. On the other hand, those with an external locus of control tend to feel disempowered. They may attribute their successes or failures to factors outside their control, such as luck, fate, or other people's actions. This disempowerment can lead to frustration, resignation, and a lack of motivation. Taking personal responsibility empowers you to regain control over your life, make conscious decisions, and take meaningful actions toward your goals. Another important aspect of personal responsibility is the acceptance of your mistakes and failures. No one is perfect, and we all make mistakes along the way. However, it is through accountability, owning up to our mistakes, that we grow. By accepting responsibility for your errors, You free yourself from the burden of guilt and regret, opening the door to learning and self-improvement. This mindset allows you to approach life with compassion and forgiveness, recognizing that mistakes are simply part of the learning process. Taking responsibility also requires honesty with yourself. It means acknowledging where you have been complacent or negligent and taking proactive steps to make changes. This honesty is not about self-criticism, but about self-awareness and growth. By being honest with yourself about your strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement, you create a clearer understanding of who you are and what you need to do to move forward. In relationships, personal responsibility is crucial for building healthy connections. When you take responsibility for your actions and behaviors, you build trust and respect with others. You recognize that you cannot control others, but you can control how you respond. This leads to healthier communication, greater empathy, and a deeper sense of connection. By owning your part in any situation, you foster mutual respect and understanding, which strengthens your relationships. Ultimately, personal responsibility is about empowerment, the empowerment to make choices that align with your values, the empowerment to create change in your life, and the empowerment to take ownership of your experiences. It is through this responsibility that you find true freedom, the freedom to choose your path, learn from your mistakes, and build a life that reflects your highest aspirations. Storytelling is a fundamental part of how you make sense of your life. Stories are not just entertainment or tools for communication. They are the very fabric through which you understand and interpret your experiences, making sense of the world and your place within it. From the myths and legends passed down through generations to the personal narratives you tell yourself every day, story plays a central role in guiding your decisions, shaping your identity, and fostering personal growth. At its core, storytelling is about meaning-making. You create stories to make sense of the events and experiences in your life, both positive and negative. The narratives you construct about yourself, your past, and your future serve as a lens through which you view the world. These stories give you a sense of continuity and purpose, helping you navigate challenges, celebrate victories, and learn from struggles. Your personal story shapes your self-identity, the way you perceive who you are, what you've been through, and what you can become. But not all stories are equally empowering. The stories you tell yourself can either limit or liberate you. The stories you choose to embrace shape your beliefs about what is possible and define the course of your life. If you view yourself as a victim of your circumstances, your story may revolve around helplessness and resignation, limiting your ability to take proactive steps toward change. On the other hand, if you see yourself as a hero on a journey of growth and transformation, you begin to recognize your power and agency, and you start to shape a future that aligns with your values and aspirations. The power of story lies in its ability to transform your perspective. Through storytelling, you can reframe the challenges you face, finding meaning even in the most difficult moments. This is where the concept of the hero's journey comes into play. The hero's journey, which appears in myths and stories across cultures, is a universal narrative of growth, challenge, and transformation. It teaches you that life is not about avoiding struggle, but about facing it with courage, learning from it, and emerging stronger. By viewing your life through the lens of the hero's journey, You can approach adversity with a sense of purpose. Challenges become opportunities for growth and self-discovery, and even failures become important lessons that shape you into the person you are meant to be. Just as the hero overcomes obstacles to achieve their goals, you too can find the strength and resilience to navigate life's difficulties. In addition to the external journey, storytelling also plays a crucial role in your internal journey. The stories you tell yourself about your capabilities, limitations, and potential impact your self-esteem and self-worth. If you view yourself as powerless or incapable, you may shy away from challenges or avoid taking risks. However, if you see yourself as capable, resilient, and worthy of success, you are more likely to pursue your goals with confidence and determination. Another powerful aspect of storytelling is its ability to connect you to others. Stories create bonds and foster empathy, as they allow you to share your experiences, vulnerabilities, and triumphs. When you share your story, you invite others into your world, giving them a glimpse into your struggles and victories. This shared experience creates a sense of belonging and connection, reminding you that you are not alone in your journey. As you reflect on the role of storytelling in your personal growth, acknowledge the importance of authenticity. The stories you tell yourself and others must be grounded in truth. While it is important to frame your challenges in a way that empowers you, it's also essential to be honest about your experiences and the emotions that come with them. Authentic storytelling allows you to accept your past, learn from it, and move forward with clarity and purpose. Moreover, writing or verbalizing your story can be a powerful tool for healing. Journaling, for example, allows you to reflect on your experiences, process your emotions, and gain insight into your thoughts and behavior. By externalizing your inner narrative, you gain distance from it, allowing you to see it from a new perspective. This process can help you identify patterns, clarify your values and goals, and make more conscious choices moving forward. The stories you tell yourself and others are not static. They are constantly evolving. As you grow and change, so too do your stories. You are the author of your own life, and the narratives you create are shaped by your choices, experiences, and the meaning you attach to them. As you continue to evolve, you have the power to rewrite your story, reframing challenges as opportunities for growth, resilience, and transformation. Crisis often disrupts your sense of stability, forcing you to question your assumptions and beliefs. While crises are often overwhelming, chaotic, and painful, they also have the potential to bring about profound clarity and transformation. Though difficult, the experience of crisis can serve as a powerful catalyst for self-awareness, growth, and renewal. Navigating these turbulent moments often leads to deeper insights, a clearer sense of purpose, and a stronger sense of self. A crisis, by its very nature, disrupts the status quo. It shakes you out of your routines, forces you to confront uncomfortable emotions, and presents challenges that may seem insurmountable. Crises can take many forms, whether it's the loss of a loved one, a personal failure, a relationship breakdown, or a health scare. These events can leave you feeling vulnerable, lost, and uncertain about the future. However, within that discomfort and uncertainty lies the potential for transformation. At the heart of a crisis is the disruption of your expectations and assumptions. You're forced to question everything you thought you knew about yourself and the world around you. While this is a painful process, it clears away old frameworks that no longer serve you and opens the door for new perspectives to emerge. This process of reassessment, asking what truly matters to me and how can I grow from this experience, offers clarity and fresh insights that often guide you toward your next steps. Through crisis, the things that once seemed trivial or inconsequential take on new meaning. It reveals your deepest values, fears, and desires, and gives you the opportunity to focus on what truly matters. This clarity, though unsettling at first, is a gift. It enables you to make more intentional choices moving forward. The journey from crisis to clarity is not always immediate. Emotions like grief, anger, or fear may initially overwhelm you, but with time, reflection, and a new perspective, these emotions can shift. You begin to see that the crisis, painful as it may be, has offered opportunities for growth. The lessons learned during this time can help you develop greater empathy, resilience, and wisdom. Mindfulness plays a key role in this transformation. Being present with your emotions and thoughts without becoming overwhelmed by them allows you to process the crisis more effectively. Mindfulness helps you embrace the uncertainty that accompanies such moments, creating space for clarity to emerge. It becomes a tool for healing and helps you move toward a grounded sense of self. Self-compassion is also critical during this process. Instead of being harsh on yourself, treat yourself with kindness and understanding. Acknowledge that you're doing the best you can in difficult circumstances. By embracing self-compassion, you allow space for growth and healing to take place. A crisis teaches you the importance of letting go of past habits, expectations, and the need to control every aspect of life. It forces you to surrender to what is and trust that clarity will emerge with time. Letting go opens you to new possibilities and paths you may not have considered. Ultimately, the journey from crisis to clarity is about transformation. It's through adversity that you often discover your true potential. The clarity you gain from navigating these difficult times marks a pivotal moment, one that shapes who you are, what you value, and where you want to go in life. Let's now take a closer look at the dynamic nature of masculine and feminine roles, concepts that have shaped human experiences for centuries. These roles are central to how you understand yourself, your relationships, and your place in the world. While these roles were once defined by rigid expectations, our evolving society offers new insights into how to balance both masculine and feminine energies for a more integrated approach to life. Masculinity and femininity have traditionally been framed as opposites. Masculinity is often associated with strength, assertiveness, and independence, while femininity is linked to nurturing, empathy, and sensitivity. But as society progresses, we're beginning to understand that these qualities are not exclusive to one gender. Both men and women can embody traits traditionally associated with either masculinity or femininity, and those traits can be expressed in diverse ways. Embracing this fluidity is key to living a balanced, authentic life. Masculine energy is typically seen as action-oriented, goal-driven, and external. It's about doing, leading, protecting, and pushing forward. In the past, these qualities were tied to the male role, with men expected to embody resilience and leadership. However, both men and women can tap into this assertive, independent energy. Masculine energy is about taking action, facing challenges, and pursuing goals with determination, not about gender. Similarly, feminine energy is described as receptive, nurturing, and intuitive. It's about being, creating, empathizing, and fostering relationships. Historically, these qualities were associated with women, who were often expected to care for others and maintain the well-being of their families. However, just like masculinity, these feminine traits are not confined to one gender. Men can express and embrace their feminine energy through empathy, compassion, and emotional awareness. The balance between masculine and feminine energies is essential for growth. In the past, one energy was often valued over the other, but the reality is that both are needed for personal well-being. Recognizing the interdependence of these energies allows you to live with greater authenticity and strength. Embracing both the assertiveness of masculinity and the compassion of femininity helps you navigate life's challenges with versatility and a sense of wholeness. Modern society has opened up new possibilities for expression, no longer confining people to fixed roles based on gender. As both men and women explore and express both masculine and feminine qualities, they create a richer, more equal world. This shift has led to greater freedom and equality, allowing people to define their roles and identities based on who they are, not what they are expected to be. Psychologically, integrating both masculine and feminine traits is crucial for emotional well-being. When you reject or suppress one aspect of your nature, you create imbalance and inner conflict. For instance, if a woman feels she must always embody feminine traits and suppress assertiveness, she may feel powerless. Conversely, a man who suppresses his emotional side may feel disconnected. Embracing both qualities promotes self-acceptance and emotional harmony. This balance plays a significant role in relationships. By integrating masculine and feminine energies within yourself, you build stronger, more resilient connections with others. Your relationships benefit from healthier communication, greater empathy, and deeper mutual understanding. Owning your role in each interaction allows for trust and respect to flourish. Ultimately, integrating masculine and feminine energies fosters a fulfilling life. These energies allow you to be resilient and strong when needed, yet compassionate and nurturing in your relationships. Balancing these energies helps you create a life that's not only authentic, but also empowering and connected to others. Addiction can take many forms, whether it's a dependence on substances like alcohol or drugs, behavioral addictions such as gambling or excessive screen time, or even emotional dependencies. No matter the form, addiction often feels like a cycle that's hard to break, a cycle of craving, satisfaction, and then regret. However, at the core of overcoming addiction lies the power of purpose, a guiding force that can provide you with the clarity, strength, and motivation needed to break free from unhealthy patterns and rebuild a meaningful life. Addiction, in its essence, is often an attempt to fill a void, a search for comfort, escape, or pleasure. It's a way of coping with pain, stress, or unmet emotional needs. For many, the temporary relief that comes from addiction masks deeper, unresolved issues. While substances or behaviors may provide short-term satisfaction, they ultimately leave you feeling emptier, more isolated, and more disconnected from your true self. This is where purpose becomes a critical force in healing. The first step in overcoming addiction is understanding that it is not merely about quitting a behavior or substance. It's about replacing it with something that provides deeper, more lasting fulfillment. The process of overcoming addiction requires a shift in focus from short-term relief to long-term purpose. When you have a clear sense of purpose, when you know what truly matters to you and what you are striving for, you are better able to resist the pull of addiction. Purpose gives you something worth fighting for, something greater than the temporary relief that addiction offers. Research has shown that individuals who struggle with addiction often lack a sense of meaning in their lives. Addiction fills the void that comes from this lack of purpose. By developing a strong sense of purpose, you can create a new foundation that is built on positive, fulfilling goals rather than destructive habits. Purpose helps you redefine your identity. It shifts the focus from being defined by your struggles or addictions to being defined by your aspirations, values, and strengths. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate purpose is by aligning your life with values that resonate with you on a deep level. Values are the principles and ideals that guide your actions and decisions. When you are clear about your values, you can make choices that are in line with your authentic self. For example, if you value health, then you may find that overcoming an addiction becomes easier because you are driven by the desire to lead a healthier life. Similarly, if you value relationships, the purpose of rebuilding connections with others can provide motivation to overcome the isolation often caused by addiction. A sense of self-worth is also key in the journey of overcoming addiction. When you believe that you are deserving of a life free from addiction, you create a foundation for healing. Self-worth allows you to see beyond your mistakes and failures, helping you to embrace the idea that you are capable of change. It's not about being perfect. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of love, respect, and the opportunity to transform. Responsibility is another critical component in overcoming addiction. Addiction often thrives in an environment where you feel helpless or powerless. By embracing personal responsibility, you regain control over your life. This means acknowledging that while external factors may have contributed to your addiction, you ultimately have the power to choose how you respond. Responsibility empowers you to take action, seek help, and make the necessary changes to create a life of purpose and fulfillment. In the process of overcoming addiction, community plays a crucial role. While addiction can feel isolating, recovery is often supported by the connections you make with others. This may involve seeking support from family, friends, or professional therapists. It may also involve joining support groups where individuals share their struggles and successes. The power of community lies in the sense of belonging it provides. When you are surrounded by people who understand your journey, you feel less alone, more supported, and more motivated to stay on the path of recovery. Purpose also provides you with a long-term vision. Addiction often focuses on the immediate, providing temporary relief or satisfaction. However, as you cultivate purpose, you begin to focus on the future, on the life you want to create for yourself. You start to set goals that align with your values and your vision for a healthier, more fulfilling life. These goals act as a guide, helping you stay focused on what truly matters and giving you the strength to move past the short-term temptations of addiction. A powerful tool in overcoming addiction is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you become more aware of your thoughts, emotions, and cravings without judgment. By practicing mindfulness, you can observe your impulses without reacting to them, giving you the space to make more conscious decisions. Mindfulness allows you to stay grounded in the present moment, rather than getting caught in the cycle of cravings and regret. This practice is especially helpful when dealing with addictive behaviors, as it helps you break the automatic patterns that sustain addiction. The process of overcoming addiction is not easy. It is a journey that requires patience, resilience, and commitment. But when you are driven by purpose, when you have a clear sense of why you are making these changes, you are more likely to stay the course. Purpose gives you the motivation to keep going, even when the road is difficult, and helps you find meaning in your recovery journey. As you explore the journey of overcoming addiction through purpose, you come to recognize that suffering is an essential part of the process. Rather than avoiding or resenting suffering, embracing it can lead to profound growth and meaning. In the next part, you'll dive into how suffering shapes your life, teaches you valuable lessons, and ultimately leads to greater resilience and understanding as you continue on your path of transformation. Now let us turn our attention to a universal and often difficult aspect of the human experience: suffering. Suffering, whether physical, emotional, or psychological, is an inevitable part of life. It's something you will face at various points in your journey. Yet, rather than viewing suffering solely as something to be avoided or endured, it is through understanding and embracing suffering that you can find meaning and growth. Throughout history, many philosophical and spiritual traditions have explored the role of suffering in the human experience. From Buddhism, which teaches that suffering is a fundamental part of existence, to Christianity, which views suffering as a way of connecting with the divine, the presence of suffering in your life is universally acknowledged. In each tradition, suffering is not seen as a punishment or something inherently negative. Rather, it is an experience that can lead to deeper understanding, empathy, and ultimately, spiritual growth. In modern psychology, suffering is often viewed as a necessary part of the process of personal transformation. Carl Jung famously said, "What you resist persists." This highlights the idea that your resistance to suffering, the desire to avoid pain and discomfort, often makes the experience harder to bear. On the other hand, when you learn to face suffering with acceptance and openness, you can transform it into an opportunity for self-discovery and healing. Suffering, at its core, is a powerful teacher. It often pushes you to confront parts of yourself that you would rather avoid, whether it's unresolved grief, past trauma, or unmet emotional needs. In facing suffering, you come face to face with your vulnerabilities, your limitations, and your fears. This process can be deeply uncomfortable, but it is also in this discomfort that you have the opportunity to grow. Suffering has the potential to break you down, but it can also build you back up, stronger and more resilient. One of the key ways to navigate suffering is by finding meaning in the experience. When you can attach meaning to your suffering, it becomes easier to endure. For example, in the face of illness or hardship, you may find meaning in the lessons you learn about your strength, your values, or your relationships. When you see suffering as a path to greater understanding or personal growth, it no longer feels like a pointless or random event. It becomes an integral part of your life story, a chapter that contributes to your overall narrative and transformation. This process of finding meaning in suffering is often connected to the concept of post-traumatic growth. Just as some individuals experience devastating setbacks or traumas, others find that their suffering leads them to develop greater resilience, empathy, and life satisfaction. This form of growth is not about minimizing the pain or pretending it didn't happen. It's about learning how to incorporate suffering into your life in a way that enhances your understanding of yourself and the world around you. Suffering also plays a key role in empathy and connection. It is through your own experiences of pain and hardship that you become more able to understand and support others in their struggles. When you have suffered, you can relate to others who are going through similar experiences, offering them compassion, support, and wisdom. This shared experience creates bonds that transcend superficial differences, fostering a sense of connection and solidarity with others. Moreover, suffering often forces you to reevaluate your life and priorities. When you face a difficult or painful situation, it can shake you out of your complacency and prompt you to ask important questions. What do I truly want in life? What do I value most? What changes do I need to make to align my actions with my values? This kind of reflection can lead to greater clarity and purpose, as you are forced to confront the fleeting nature of life and the things that truly matter. In some cases, suffering can also bring a sense of humility. It reminds you that you are not invincible and that life is fragile. This humility can open you up to gratitude for the small blessings you often overlook: your health, your loved ones, your everyday experiences. Suffering, in this sense, teaches you to appreciate the beauty and the fleeting moments of life, encouraging you to live more fully in the present. The key to navigating suffering is not to seek to avoid it, but to learn how to embrace it. By embracing suffering, you allow it to become a transformative force in your life. You learn to live with it, to learn from it, and ultimately to transcend it. It is through the process of acceptance that you begin to heal, finding strength and wisdom in the very experiences that once seemed unbearable. As you reflect on the role of suffering in your life, you come to understand that it is an integral part of the human condition. While you cannot always control the suffering you face, you do have control over how you respond to it. By embracing suffering, finding meaning in it, and using it as a catalyst for growth, you can move through life with greater resilience, empathy, and clarity. In the next part, you will explore how faith and spirituality can further guide you in your journey of personal growth, providing you with a deeper sense of purpose and connection as you navigate the challenges of life. Faith and spirituality offer guidance through life's challenges. Whether rooted in a religious tradition or a more individual sense of spirituality, faith plays an essential role in providing you with purpose, direction, and a deep sense of connection to something greater than yourself. Faith and spirituality are often seen as sources of strength in times of hardship, but they also serve as guiding principles throughout your life, offering clarity and peace in moments of uncertainty. Faith allows you to navigate the complexities of existence with a sense of trust in yourself, in others, and in the larger forces that shape your life. It provides a framework for understanding the world and your place within it, offering meaning in both the mundane and the extraordinary moments of life. At the heart of faith is the belief in something bigger than yourself. This belief may manifest in many ways. For some, it's a belief in a higher power, such as God or the divine. For others, it's a belief in the interconnectedness of all beings, or a sense of purpose that transcends the individual. No matter the form it takes, faith provides a sense of security in the face of life's uncertainties. When you are grounded in faith, you are better able to navigate the inevitable challenges, losses, and transitions that come with living. Faith helps you accept the unknown and find comfort in the belief that there is a deeper meaning to your struggles. One of the most profound aspects of faith is its ability to foster a sense of hope. In the midst of suffering or adversity, faith offers the promise that things will improve, that there is a purpose to your struggles, and that you are not alone. This hope serves as a guiding light, motivating you to keep going, even when the path ahead seems unclear. The hope that faith provides is not about guaranteeing specific outcomes, but about trusting that you have the strength and resilience to face whatever challenges come your way. In addition to hope, faith and spirituality also offer a sense of belonging and community. Many religious and spiritual practices involve gathering with others who share similar beliefs, creating a network of support and connection. This sense of community can be incredibly powerful, offering a space for shared growth, encouragement, and mutual care. Being part of a spiritual community allows you to feel supported in your journey, knowing that others are walking alongside you, facing similar challenges, and sharing similar aspirations. Faith also plays a key role in your decision-making process. When you are faced with difficult choices or moral dilemmas, your faith and spirituality can provide you with guidance. For those who adhere to a particular religion, religious teachings often offer clear principles for how to act in accordance with one's beliefs. For others, a more personal sense of spirituality may provide intuitive guidance, an inner knowing that directs your actions and decisions in a way that aligns with your values and desires. In moments of uncertainty, faith provides you with a moral compass, helping you make decisions that reflect your deepest convictions. It allows you to approach life with a sense of integrity, knowing that your choices are aligned with your higher values and purpose. This alignment between faith and action creates a deep sense of authenticity and fulfillment. As you live in accordance with what truly matters to you, the practice of spirituality can also enhance your self-awareness. Whether through prayer, meditation, or contemplation, spiritual practices encourage you to connect with your inner self and reflect on your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This reflection fosters a greater understanding of who you are and what you value, helping you make more conscious decisions that are aligned with your true self. Spirituality invites you to explore the deeper questions of existence, encouraging you to seek answers not only in the world around you, but within yourself. Additionally, spirituality often promotes the importance of compassion, both toward yourself and others. Many spiritual traditions teach the value of kindness, forgiveness, and empathy. By cultivating compassion, you can navigate life's challenges with greater ease, offering support and understanding to those around you, while also extending kindness to yourself. This compassion allows you to build deeper, more meaningful relationships and to foster a sense of peace and acceptance in your life. Faith and spirituality also invite you to engage with suffering in a different way. Rather than seeing suffering as meaningless or something to avoid at all costs, many spiritual traditions encourage you to view suffering as an opportunity for growth, reflection, and connection. By embracing suffering with a sense of faith, you can transform painful experiences into powerful lessons that shape your personal and spiritual development. Ultimately, the role of faith and spirituality in life decisions is about creating a deeper connection to the divine, whatever form that may take for you, and using that connection as a source of guidance, strength, and clarity. Faith provides you with a framework for understanding the meaning of life and your place in the world, helping you navigate challenges with grace, wisdom, and purpose. As you reflect on the importance of faith and spirituality, you realize that they are not just about religious belief, they are about connecting with a deeper sense of self and the world around you. By embracing spirituality, you cultivate greater purpose, peace, and connection, enabling you to make decisions that are aligned with your highest aspirations. In the next part, you will explore how the science of motivation and behavior can further enhance your understanding of the forces that drive you, helping you align your actions with your deepest values and purpose. We now delve into the fascinating field of motivation, the inner drive that compels you to take action, pursue your goals, and create meaningful change in your life. Understanding the science behind motivation and behavior can shed light on how and why you make the choices you do, and it can provide you with the tools needed to harness your motivational forces in a more intentional and productive way. At its core, motivation is the driving force behind every action you take, whether it's the desire to achieve a personal goal, improve your health, or create a better future. Motivation is what propels you forward. However, motivation is not a static or one-dimensional force. It is complex and influenced by many different factors, both biological and psychological. One of the key components of motivation is the brain's dopamine system, a neurotransmitter pathway that plays a crucial role in the experience of reward, pleasure, and motivation. Dopamine is released when you experience something enjoyable or rewarding, and it creates a sense of pleasure and satisfaction. This release of dopamine serves as a reinforcement mechanism, encouraging you to repeat behaviors that bring you joy or success. However, motivation is not simply about experiencing pleasure, it is also about anticipation. Dopamine is released not only when you receive a reward but also when you anticipate a reward. This is why setting goals can be so motivating. The brain releases dopamine in anticipation of the reward you will receive once the goal is achieved. The anticipation itself can feel motivating, driving you to take action toward your objectives. But motivation is not always driven by rewards and pleasure alone. The brain also responds to pain and discomfort, and these negative emotions can be just as powerful a motivator. For example, the desire to avoid discomfort or pain can drive you to take action to escape from unpleasant situations. The feeling of fear, anxiety, or stress can serve as powerful motivators, pushing you to change your behavior or make decisions that reduce these negative feelings. Another critical factor in motivation is the concept of self-regulation. Self-regulation is the ability to manage and control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors to achieve long-term goals. It allows you to resist immediate impulses in favor of more meaningful long-term rewards. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and impulse control, plays a crucial role in self-regulation. When you are able to delay gratification and stay focused on your goals, you activate the prefrontal cortex, which helps you maintain self-control and make decisions that align with your long-term aspirations. The ability to self-regulate is essential for overcoming temptations and distractions that can derail your progress. For example, when you are trying to achieve a health goal, the desire for instant gratification, such as indulging in unhealthy food, may conflict with your long-term goal of feeling healthier and more energetic. Self-regulation allows you to resist the immediate temptation and make decisions that are aligned with your ultimate goal. Moreover, Motivation is deeply intertwined with your sense of purpose. When you have a clear sense of why you are pursuing a goal, when you understand the deeper meaning behind your actions, you are more likely to stay motivated and committed to that goal, even when faced with obstacles or setbacks. Purpose provides the emotional and psychological fuel that keeps you going, giving you the strength to overcome challenges and stay focused on the bigger picture. This connection between motivation and purpose is supported by research in positive psychology, which suggests that people who engage in activities that align with their core values and passions tend to experience greater satisfaction, well-being, and motivation. When your actions are driven by a sense of meaning and alignment with your values, the process of achieving your goals becomes more fulfilling and enjoyable. In addition to purpose, the concept of self-efficacy plays an important role in motivation. Self-efficacy is the belief in your ability to succeed in specific tasks or challenges. When you have high self-efficacy, you are more likely to take action, set ambitious goals, and persist in the face of difficulties. On the other hand, when you lack self-efficacy or believe that you are incapable of succeeding, you may be less motivated to take action or pursue your goals. Building self-efficacy involves recognizing and celebrating your past successes, no matter how small, and cultivating a growth mindset that allows you to learn from failures rather than be discouraged by them. Motivation also interacts with your emotional state. Positive emotions, such as joy, pride, and excitement, can enhance your motivation by reinforcing the pleasurable aspects of your goals. Negative emotions, such as fear and frustration, can either undermine motivation if they feel overwhelming, or conversely, can serve as powerful triggers for action when you channel them into determination and resolve. The key is learning to understand and manage your emotional responses so that they work for you rather than against you. Lastly, social connections and support networks play an important role in motivation. Research shows that you are more likely to stay motivated when you have support from others, whether it's through encouragement, accountability, or shared goals. Social connections can provide the reinforcement and motivation needed to stay on track. The social brain is wired to respond to the influence of others, which is why group dynamics, peer support, and community engagement can be powerful tools for achieving your goals. As you reflect on your journey, it's clear that life decisions are deeply intertwined with self-awareness, values, and goals. This exploration has taken you through the complexities of the human mind, the challenges of personal transformation, and the key forces that drive your decisions and behaviors. Now, as you look back on the path you've walked, you'll see that the journey of growth, while ever evolving, leads you toward a deeper understanding of yourself and your place in the world. At the heart of all your personal decisions lies the pursuit of meaning, the quest to understand who you are, what you value, and how you can live in alignment with your highest aspirations. Meaning gives you direction. It shapes your goals, informs your choices, and provides the foundation for lasting motivation. When you live with a clear sense of purpose, you can navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and clarity. You become empowered to face adversity, embrace suffering, and transform difficulties into opportunities for growth. As you've explored throughout this series, the integration of various aspects of your being, your mind, body, emotions, and spirit, is essential to living a life of purpose. Personal growth is not a linear journey, but a dynamic process that requires ongoing self-reflection, self-compassion, and a willingness to adapt and learn. Whether navigating your relationships, facing personal challenges, or pursuing career goals, the ability to integrate your strengths and weaknesses, your masculine and feminine energies, and your immediate desire with your long-term values allows you to create a life that is truly authentic and fulfilling. You've also discovered the profound role that faith and spirituality play in guiding your decisions and helping you navigate life's uncertainties. Faith, in whatever form it takes for you, serves as a source of strength, hope, and connection to something greater than yourself. It provides clarity during times of confusion, peace during moments of suffering, and a deep sense of purpose as you continue on your personal journey. Faith allows you to trust in the process of life and find meaning in both the light and the dark moments of your existence. Furthermore, you've learned that the process of self-regulation, the ability to manage your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors, plays a key role in achieving your goals and maintaining your well-being. By cultivating emotional resilience, developing a strong sense of self-efficacy, and learning to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, you empower yourself to make decisions that are aligned with your values and aspirations. The science behind motivation revealed that your brain's reward systems, emotions, and sense of purpose are intricately connected. The ability to stay motivated is not just about seeking pleasure or avoiding pain, but about finding meaning in your actions and remaining connected to your deeper goals. Whether through the dopamine-driven anticipation of rewards or the fulfillment that comes from making decisions aligned with your values, motivation is the fuel that propels you forward on your path of personal transformation. You've also seen how embracing both suffering and challenges is a critical part of the growth process. Suffering, while often painful, is not something to fear or avoid. It is a natural part of the human experience that has the potential to guide you toward deeper wisdom, compassion, and understanding. By viewing suffering as an opportunity for self-discovery, you can transform your struggles into stepping stones that lead you toward greater clarity, resilience, and emotional strength. As you move forward, continue to embrace the adventure of personal transformation. Just as a hero faces obstacles, overcomes fears, and learns from challenges, you too must keep growing, adapting, and seeking meaning in all that you do. The decisions you make today shape the path of your life, and by living intentionally, with purpose and awareness, you can create a future that reflects your deepest values and aspirations. In summary, the journey of personal growth is one of self-discovery, empowerment, and meaning-making. It is about understanding who you are, embracing both your strengths and weaknesses, and making choices that align with your core values and aspirations. Whether through faith, motivation, self-compassion, or overcoming challenges, each part of your journey contributes to the creation of a life that is rich with purpose, clarity, and fulfillment. As you close this chapter of your exploration, recognize that the journey is far from over. Each day presents new opportunities for growth, new decisions to make, and new paths to follow. It is through the ongoing process of reflection, intention, and action that you continue to evolve and become the best version of yourself, living a life that is not only fulfilling for you, but impactful for the world around you.